Wait, is this thing on? Holy shit. Too early. Too early. Oh, hang on. Let me do this. Paste. And and pin message. Okay, here we go. Here we go, folks. The link's pinned. If you want to join, join. If you don't, don't. Hey, no pressure. If I give it a little bit, maybe some of the weirdos that I hang out with will show up. Cause yeah. Yeah, there's nothing to see here. Move along. Move along. I'm just joking. You can come up if you want to. Well, fair enough. If you got to get up, you got to get up. Well, hello there. How you?
How you doing?
How you doing? Oh,
Oh, hang
no, I figured I'd
on.
go up because whatever. Just because.
I thought it was well. Well.
Welly, 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 well. What have we got here now? Oh,
I'm
you're
at we're
always out
stirring,
smoking.
Willis.
Yeah, no shit. I thought I changed
Out
smoke.
smoking. Isn't chain smoking like when you're hooked up to a chain, or no? That's not how it works.
Well, more or less, yeah. You're like chained in by the nicotine. So yeah, same thing.
Goodness. But I'll be in and out. I just thought, well, no one's hopped up on panel with you. I'll hop up briefly.
Oh, hey, I appreciate it. I'm glad you're here. Oh, hey, Salty. Hey, man, hop up here. We need to have a conversation. We do actually need to have
Ooh,
a conversation. Yeah.
ooh,
No,
that
it's not
sounds
that kind of
serious.
conversation. Get your mind out of the gutters, Wendy. Come on, man.
I wasn't in
What?
the gutters. I was thinking, oh, somebody's in trouble. Na, 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 na.
Oh no,
Hey,
he's not.
Ghosty.
He's not in trouble. We have a common enemy now, apparently. So
Oh,
on the
cool.
interwebs, yeah. So it's pretty funny, actually. It is actually pretty funny
Awesome.
because I didn't know how I got roped into all this shit in the first place. But dude tried
You
to rope
probably
me.
said hello.
Yeah, I was being nice, and I shouldn't have been nice. So yeah, you're probably. Oh, hang on, there's salty.
And then they know that you know some of the other people that they don't like. Oh, look here.
No, I'm
That's
innocent. I didn't do it.
Yeah, it's not my fault. I didn't fucking do it. Yeah.
No, you can blame it on me. It's probably my fault. I probably did say it and do it, but just
Oh,
not
I'll
recently.
take the blame. Nothing matters. Yeah, because I don't
No,
really.
it's YouTube. I don't really care.
Oh,
What's
hey,
up?
Wendy, This is Salty Rant. Salty Rant. This is Wendy. He lives in Fuck Me, California.
Yeah,
Okay.
suck my dick, California, but that's okay.
There you go. Close enough. Close enough.
I'm in Australia.
But not for long. I'm going to be moving here in a couple of years.
Are you getting the hell out?
Yeah, I'm going to go to another state. Probably stay on the West Coast. Maybe go to Oregon. I have a potential job lead coming up, but it's just going to take a couple of years to mature.
Right. Gotcha.
And, I'm, doing what I like to do, which is security. I typically work the graveyard shift, but you know what? I think I'm getting a little too old for it because my body's starting to break down.
Oh, sure. Hey, look, give us one of them old graveyard cemetery garden stories you got.
All right, so
I love working graveyard shift. Less traffic on the road. Less
Well,
people
yeah,
to
but-
deal with.
I used to work in a cemetery. I used to work at Mountain View Cemetery, which is in San Bernardino. Now, Mountain View Cemetery has
Oh,
famous
holy
people.
You work the graveyard shift.
Yeah, an actual
Well-
graveyard shift in the graveyard. Yeah.
I was working like in a late swing shift, like 5 to 1, typically. So they didn't have security. Like they had security overnight when the new company came in and took it over, but I wasn't on the graveyard shift. I was always on the swing shift, and it was cool, because my wife kind of works swing shift, so get home about the same
What
time.
kind of graveyard do you got security guards? That's pretty.
Well,
not an Australian thing.
and it sounded strange, but it just seemed natural. So I'd been there since like 2013 when I came back from Arizona. I was working a job as a jailer at an Indian jail. And so it didn't really work out. I'm like, I didn't like being away from my family and shit. So 2013, I came back after working the Grand Canyon for the same tribe. First in 2010, I worked at their jail, and then I came back. And I was going to move to Arizona, but I'm like, nah, you know what? Like, it's not worth it. I don't want to work for this Indian tribe called the Wallapai tribe because politics being what it was was a bad fit. I was a bad fit. So I came back in 2013 and I got the job with an old employer that I'd worked for before. And I just went to work in the cemetery for about, 5-6 years. And then they lost the contract. Then for a couple of years, I banged around to other security companies. And then I came back a couple of years later for the new company. And I had the experience, and I worked 2 different locations. I worked one cemetery in Bloomington, actually called Green Acres, and then I worked at Mountain View, which was in San Bernardino.
Place to be.
Exactly. And so I worked at Mountain View, and I liked Mountain View. Mountain View is my cemetery. That was my jam because I knew a lot of people. And I met a lot more people. I met a couple people whose spouses died because of COVID-related shit back in 2020. One guy's wife had like leukemia or whatever, and then the COVID killed her, I guess. And so I just started making my friendships and then reassuming old friendships from people that I'd known before. And working the cemetery was fucked because I was the only guy there. I was unarmed. It was an unarmed post. I had everything but the gun and the taser, and I knew how to talk to people. So I would see, Aryan supremacist, white supremacist skinheads coming in, and they'd have their fucking shirts off, and they'd go in to use the bathroom, and everybody would be scared because of their Nazi tattoos. And I just said, guys, look, if you're going to go in and use the restroom, you got to be here part of this viewing. It's not open to the public. And you guys can't walk in there with your Nazi swastikas with your shirts off. I said, it's a family park. I said, you're going to have to stay fully dressed. Women got to wear tops. You got to wear tops. And I went up and I talked to them, and these guys look like they just got out of fucking jail, prison almost.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to get my ass rocked. But they were cool, The thing is, when you go up to a guy like that, a big fucking Aryan with all the fucking swastikas and shit on their chests and everywhere else, and fully shaved fucking head, or fucking not fully shaved head, but like close cropped hair, like a high and tight or a flat top. You just look them in the eyes. You treat them like you would want to be treated with anybody else. They're just a person. And they look scary as fuck, but they're just a person, you know, and just treat them with respect. And that's all I did. I treated everybody with respect, you know, and I got along great with just about everybody. But now working in the cemetery, I never opened up my mind to ghosts or supernatural shit because you can't do that working in the fucking cemetery. It doesn't work. If you do that,
yeah.
If you do that, it won't work. Now, the other company that I worked for was a Middle Eastern owned company. The owner was from Afghanistan and he became Americanized. Then the guy that worked in the office was from Pakistan. He became Americanized after so many years. So they were actual, you know, American citizens. But a lot of the guys that worked for that company with the Middle Eastern owners and business partners, they wouldn't fucking stay in the cemetery after dark. They'd park on the outside of the gate. I don't give a fuck what amount of money you offer to pay these guys an hour. They would not set foot in the cemetery late at night or when the sun went down. They're like, fuck it, I'm parking on the outside of the gate. I'm like, why, dude? There's nothing here. There's a bunch of dead people. They're not going to fucking hurt you. But again, they went ahead and parked on the outside. And there were times where I would get out of the car and I'd walk around certain areas and it'd be pitch black, dude. Like fog would be rolling in and shit like a fucking horror movie. I'm like, oh, great. You know, werewolf or vampire is going to jump on and get me. But like,
Zombies,
whatever.
Yeah. Zombies are going to start crawling out of the ground and shit. Yeah.
Now,
So I've never heard of security in Australian graveyard. What kind of stuff happens in graveyards that they need security for? Because I'm a bit confused and dumb to it.
Not believe it. Yeah. I mean, they fuck up some shit in the graveyard. They will.
So basically, because it was in an impoverished neighborhood, it was in San Bernardino, and it was on Mountain View and it was on Mountain View and Water Street. It's right across from the hospital, St. Rose, not St. Rose. I can't think of the name of the hospital. St. Bernardine's, I think. It's a really impoverished neighborhood. The neighborhood was impoverished, and right behind the cemetery on two sides were older houses, and a lot of the houses in the neighborhoods had security bars on the doors and windows. So that tells you something about the neighborhood, right? 40, 50, 60 years ago, it might have been Shangri-La, but now, downturn in economy, the neighborhood being rough, having a lot of homeless people, a lot of crazy homeless people.
Stealing Brennan or something?
Well, I'll get to that. So Mountain View Cemetery was on the map because Randy Rhoads, the guitar player, who came from Quiet Riot, was with Ozzy Osbourne. And then he was in that plane accident that hit the bus and then twirled into the house and blew up. There wasn't enough left of Randy Rhoads literally to put in a shoebox after the plane crash.
No shit.
So years ago, like 30 some years ago now, maybe more, Ozzy Osbourne had a concert and he raised the money to get Randy Rhoads moved from the main mausoleum to his own mausoleum right at the entrance and the exit to Mountain View Cemetery, right there at the front. And it was it looked like a stone ivory monument, like a little house with pillars and shit, and it had a gate. And there was 3 slots, one for him, one for his mom, and one for his dad. I think his mom had passed away, so she went on the bottom. He was in the middle. I think dad would be on top. However they did it. And it had like placards, like musical placards and stuff that were cut into the stone and everything. So every year when I was there with the first company, they used to have Randy Rhoads Day. So it was the date of his death in 1982. It was in March. And I think it was like March 12th every year. They had Randy Rhoads Day and they'd set up tables and they'd put a couple shade tents up. And you would have all these fucking people wearing spandex so tight you could tell what religion they are. Studded dog collars, fucking spiked out hair, carrying flying V guitars. Some of them made to look like the replica of what Randy Rhoads used when he was with Ozzy. And then the history of Randy Rhoads, like his musical career, even though it was short, he was like in his late 20s, early 30s when he passed. He made such a fucking statement in rock history, heavy metal and everything, that people from all around the world would flock to the cemetery throughout the year. And if they were fortunate enough to be there on Randy Rhoads Day, they had like tables set up and they had people speaking. Sometimes the family members of Randy Rhoads would be there to talk to people because it was of great interest. But they also had Abraham Lincoln's bodyguard. They had one of the Earp brothers buried there and some other famous people from different eras in the old part of the cemetery. And so people would come in the cemetery late at night. Like I would get drug users. I found a gangbanger one night banging a fucking prostitute that looked like a little boy. It was a female, but you know, and he was over by a mausoleum that belonged to somebody else. And I just happened to roll up on him in my security car with my spotlights. I cranked the air horn, got on the PA, and I'm like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? Get out of here. This is cemetery. And the Mexican dude got up and he was all tatted on his face and shit. And I'm like, come on, bro. I said, I said, this can't go in the cemetery. I said, you're having sex. He's like, well, where else am I supposed to? Get a hotel room or something. Or, bang your fucking prostitute behind a dumpster in an alley. And then the prostitute's like, you want to see my tits? I'm like, look, I said, I'm not into little boy porn and shit. I said, get out of here with that. And she goes, I'm a woman. Thank you very much. I said, look, you can identify with whatever you want. We live in California. I said, but you look like a 10-year-old little boy. And I said, I'm not into 10-year-old little boys. I said, so whatever. So I basically kicked him out of the cemetery and I made him jump the wall, because he didn't want to go out the fucking front gate. Shit like that happened a lot. In fact, you would be surprised to know that in broad daylight, when I would get on shift at like 4:30 to work 5 at night in the afternoon till 1 in the morning, from 5 until dark, I'd catch all kinds of people in their cars fucking and shit. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I walked up on a guy and a girl in the backseat of a car one night, about 5:30 in the afternoon, parked over by the maintenance building and shit under the trees. And they're fucking in the back seat of the car when they got the driver and passenger seat pushed all the way forward into the dashboard. You know it, because ain't nobody small enough to sit in that fucking seat like that, right? I walk up and I'm like, doot, 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 knock on the fucking window. I'm like, and the window comes down about 3 inches and all this pot smoke blows in my face. I'm like, hey, I said, San Bernardino PD's on the way. I said, you're going to get a obstruction charge and a trespassing, loitering, and fucking lewd and lascivious conduct charge. I said, you can't do this in the cemetery. And the guy's like, we're just talking. I said, really? I said, you're in your fucking boxers. She's fully naked. You ain't talking.
Yeah.
She turned up like that.
Well, there's this other guy. There's another guy that used to come in the cemetery all the time, and he used to grab streetwalkers like hookers off East Street, and they would come to the cemetery, which is a couple blocks from the cemetery. So he'd go to like Waterman and East Street, pick them up, fucking take them to the cemetery. So this one day, I crept up on him, parked the car, and I fucking got out and walked, and I was on his driver's side window, and he had it down about 2 inches. Super black tint on his little S10 pickup, right? I mean, dark as fuck. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, clearing my throat. And she's got her head buried in his lap and shit. I'm like, hey. I'm like knocking on the roof of the truck. I'm like, San Bernardino PD's on the way. I said, you want to get a charge or you want to go home? He's like, I want to go home. I said, all right, well, have her continue what she's doing. Drive out of here carefully. Don't hit anything on the way out. And don't let me see you again. I said, you're trespassed, at least for the rest of today. I said, I come back and I see the shit again. I said, I'll kick you out of here forever. Because that's the authority that I had as a security guard. Because I was representing the cemetery through the company that I worked for. And, they didn't like any sex. They didn't like people urinating in public. They would have fucking parties in the back. Mexican people like to drink. And in the back part of the cemetery, which was the newer part, was where all the Mexican gangbangers were buried. So they'd have a fucking party and there'd be like 40, 50 Mexican dudes hanging out from the gang with their fucking shirts off. And I'd have to wade in the middle of them and say, look, put your shirts on. This is a family park. Take your barbecue out of here. This is not set up for barbecues. I said, if you want to barbecue and drink, go home and do it. Don't do it in the cemetery. And they're like, oh, we're going to fuck you up. I said, yeah, you know what? You could fuck me up all you want. I said, but I guarantee you're the first motherfucker that I'm going to hit in the face with a baton and pepper spray. You're going. You're definitely going in cuffs. Whether you go in a police car or an ambulance is up to you. I said, I have no problem with it. I mean, you guys want to fucking close my eyes? Fuck it. Let's do it. And they always call me Pinchy Loco Weto, crazy fucking white boy. Well, you have to have the fucking attitude working in the cemetery, because when they would have their parties, they wouldn't just go to the one grave. They'd take up several graves. So people of the surrounding areas that had grave sites weren't able to access their graves. And they don't want to come to the cemetery and see a bunch of guys smoking weed, drinking with their fucking shirts off, thinking they're all Billy Badasses, because they're not. They're just fucking young punks. They think going to the cemetery and smoking weed and fucking going in the bushes to piss because they, you know, can't go off property to find a restroom. I mean, it was a fucking mess, dude. Like, it was fucked up. And I was the only guy to deal with it. I just get out of the car. I'd wade into the whole group. I'd tell them, I'm like, get the barbecue out of here, you know, this and that. And I'd be nice to them in the beginning. But they want to fucking talk their shit. I talk the shit right back. I said, I don't give a fuck. I said, I have no doubt you can close my eyes. I said, but I'm going to take this baton, I'm going to shove it up your ass and tell you what you're in store for when you go to fucking prison. I said, big boys be ramming you in the ass. Cute little puta like you. And they just look at me like I'm fucking crazy. Like, that's the way I had to be working in the cemetery. And I didn't like it because I just wanted to go to work. I wanted everybody to have a good time, but not too good of a time. You know, no drinking, no drugs, no sex, no pissing in the bushes. Treat it like you would treat your house. And I said, if this is the way you treat your mama's house, I said, shame on you.
Exactly.
You know? And so, you know, there was stuff like that.
Across the road.
Well, I mean, there were some good looking women. Like, I had women. This is the fucking fucked up part about working in the cemetery. So we always closed at dusk, sunset. So we were open from sun up to sunset. So at sunset, if I didn't have any viewings going on, which I call wakes because I'm old school, they call them viewings.
Fair enough.
If we didn't have anything in the chapel, I would shut the entry gate. And then I would close the exit gate halfway, and I'd park my car at an angle. And I'd have all the lights on, light bar, you know, fucking lights, strobing, shit like that, whatever. And people would try to run in through the exit gate, drive the wrong way like fucking maniacs, just to get to the gravesite right before the sun goes down or after the sun went down. I'd have to chase them through the cemetery, hitting the fucking air horn. And then I'd just pull up and be like, what are you doing? They're like, I had to come here and drop my flowers, but we're closed. Well, can't you give me 5 minutes? I'm like, no, you got to go. And they would argue with me. I'd had women proposition me for sex. I had this one who was wearing a tube top, stick her titties through the window. And I'm leaning toward the center console. I'm like, whoa. I said, back up. I said, you're way too close. Get your titties out of my window. I said, I don't care about that. I said, we have rules to follow. I said, we're open from sunrise to sunset. It's full on dark. Grab your shit. Get out of here. I'm going to make a complaint. I'm going to say you sexually harassed me. I'm like, you do whatever you want. I got a body camera. My body camera doesn't lie. And I was wearing my body camera at the time. You know, just stupid shit like that. I would always have to deal with some stupid shit like that. If somebody wouldn't stop for me in the cemetery, and I'm behind them running the lights, blowing the siren and the air horn, telling them that, you know, the exit's the opposite way, they would try to get out of the car and act all tough. I'm like, hey, I said, tough guy. I said, we're closed. I said, if you don't want to get locked in here, I said, grab your shit and go. I said, we're closed. I told you that. You knew that. You made me chase you. Now I'm not going to give you 5 minutes. Get the fuck out. He's like, you can't talk to me like that. I'm like, I just did. What are you going to do? Fuck off. So I had this one guy that did it, and he kept doing it. And so I closed the fucking gate, locked it up, and I went over by the main office building. I was having my lunch. And he finally pulled up a half an hour later trying to get out. And he's like, what the fuck? Walks up to the car. He goes, hey, I need you to open the gate and let me out. I said, you had your chance to leave when we were open and I was closing up. I said, now you're going to wait on me. I just took my lunch. I'm not coming back for about another half an hour. I said, you could sit in your car. Man, that's fucking kidnapping. I said, that ain't kidnapping. I said, but if you want kidnapping, we can do it. I said, there's plenty of open graves. I can just, knock you in the back of the head with your 40 and they'll find your fucking body maybe tomorrow or a week from now.
Yeah.
So I don't really have a problem with it. They were all mad and fucking going to the office, and he locked us in and he fucking threatened us, and cemetery would come to me, what happened? I'm like, hey, I already wrote up the report on it. And, how I had to chase him through the cemetery and shit and tell him to leave and, threaten to call the cops and, dumb shit like that. That's one of the things in the later years when I worked for the second company that I did not like about working at the cemetery. And it didn't matter what cemetery I was at, whether I was at Mountain View or I was at Green Acres in Bloomington. Same fucking shit. Everybody would come in last minute, drive like fucking maniacs, tear ass to the fucking grave. And then they get there, I'm like, and then they're pleading with me to have time. I'm like, look, I said, we're closed. This is the parameter. This is what they got set up. You can't do what you're doing. I'm going to write it up. I'm going to write up the grave. I'd come up to them, take their picture. And like, what are you taking my picture for? I said, because you're going in a report. I said, because you just fucked up. You can talk all the bullshit you want to me. It's not personal. This is my job. You can threaten me all you want. And I said, if you threaten me enough, I'll call the fucking cops and have you arrested. I said, simple. You want to be an asshole about it? I can be an asshole too. Just because I have a fucking security badge on and I'm not carrying a gun doesn't mean I'm a pushover. I'm not your floor mat. You don't wipe your feet off on me. It's the other way around. I wipe my feet off on people like you.
Well, when you were talking about people tear-assing through the graveyard, it reminded me of that scene from Ford Fairlane where he was like hammering the hearse through the graveyard. I don't know if you've seen that movie. Yeah,
a long time ago.
Yeah,
Andrew Dice Clay was in that, and so was fucking what's his face from Motley Crue. Vince Neil.
Yeah, and Wayne Newton. Wayne Newton was in it too. Yeah.
Yeah. And so anyway, I was just like, it was just fucking stupid. And, unfortunately, when you're working a predominantly Hispanic cemetery, that's the worst because they look at me as an outsider. Well, you don't live in the neighborhood. I'm like, I don't have to live in the neighborhood. I got a job with the company. I work here. You don't want to follow the rules? Go file a complaint on me. I don't give a shit. What are they going to do? Fire me? Then they're going to pat me on the back and tell me, hey, Lou, you only got 5 complaints this week. You're slipping. I would get people complaining on me all the fucking time for enforcing cemetery rules. I mean, all the fucking time. That cemetery in Bloomington on April 28, 2022, I dealt with a guy that had brought an AR-15 assault rifle to the cemetery, and he was holding it at the low ready. He had a beef with his new girlfriend's at the time baby daddy. The baby daddy was a black man, and she was a white woman. They had kids together. They broke up, and then he wanted to beat the brakes off the Mexican dude. But the Mexican dude was so much of a pussy, he brought a fucking ghost gun that he made in his house. And he was a former Army veteran, had PTSD and shit. So he brings this illegal weapon out of his car, holds it at his fucking side. I see the interaction. Black dude leaves. Guy comes out in the fucking street. I'm on the P. I'm like, get the fuck out of my way. I'm going to run you over. He goes, I got an AR-15. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I got 911. Now what are you going to do?
Yeah, no shit. They got.
And I called 911, and I was a little traumatized afterwards, because of the roller coaster of emotions. And I hadn't had a adrenaline dump in like 20 fucking years. I was in my 50s, 4 days before I turned 55. I bought myself a really nice Medford knife. I had pocketed. It had a nice finish on it. It had S90V blade steel. I'm like, and I'm going to go up against the guy with an AR-15? Fuck out of here, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, let me take my fucking single shot shotgun and go up against the tank. That's just not happening. It's not fucking happening. No.
So if I was armed and I had my Glock 22, my full-size Glock 22 3rd gen, if I'd have had that gun with me, bulletproof vest or not, I would have hunkered down behind the truck in a defensive position, and I would have drawn down on him, and I would have had him center mass before he could have ever raised the gun. But thankfully, nobody got hurt. I called 911. arguing with the dispatcher because on the corner of 7th and Cedar was the office. They didn't know to come down a quarter mile down the road past Pepper to come into the cemetery. So I called the fucking cavalry, and I was all nervous and shit, you know, adrenaline dump, 3 hard numbers of dials, 911. They fucking came like a parade, like 15 fucking units, all Arctic White expeditions and Dodge Chargers, lights and sirens. I'm like, the guy just fucking gave up. He's looking at me like, you're an asshole. I said, I'm not the asshole that brought a gun to a cemetery to fucking settle a beef with a baby daddy. I said, fuck you. I said, you're going to go to jail. He gave up. He put the gun in the car, got down on his knees, crossed his legs, put his hands in the air. So I'm like, pretty sure he's been arrested in the past. They took his ass into custody.
Well, he totally knew the drill. Yeah.
He had like 30 fucking felonies just on the gun alone. Shortened barrel, 10 inches, night sight scope, front grip with a fucking laser sighted tack light, fucking 30 round banana clip, fucking modified trigger system. I mean, the fucking gun. I mean, my God, dude, the money he put into this gun, it was a piece of work, but the mods that he put into the gun were illegal as fuck in the state of California. And then taking it out and brandishing it in the fucking cemetery was even worse. And we were full that day. We had a fucking cemetery funeral going down at the bottom of the hill. And at the top where he was at, we had all these families and shit, and people were freaking out and hiding behind graves and fucking going to their cars and racing out of the cemetery like crazy and shit to get away from this fucking dude. And here I am with my job stress and a little PTSD dealing with it. So, you know, I got right with God after that, somewhat, but it really fucked me up for a couple of days. And then my boss tells me, oh, you should have just taken my truck and rolled it off the embankment. I'm like, I wasn't trying to wreck it. I backed up to get away from him to create distance. The rear wheel started falling off the little embankment, and I stopped, and then I gunned it and got around him. But if he had stepped out in the road and raised that rifle at me, I'd have hit him with the truck or tried to, because that's the only defense I had at the time.
Sure.
And then a week later on a Sunday when I was at Mountain View, gangbanger gets killed on the 10th anniversary of his brother at his brother's grave. They shot him in the back of the head, and then they did it right before security came on at 1:00 in the afternoon. Wow. Fucked up the whole cemetery. The whole cemetery had to be cleaned out and shut down. Cops came, CSI, crime scene, fucking corner. I mean, it was fucked. Completely fucked.
That's fucking cold, man. To shoot somebody in the back of the head like that in his brother's grave. Yeah,
they told him they warned him not to come back to the neighborhood, and he didn't fucking listen. So they fucking capped him to make an example of him and shit. And I'm just like, man, that's some fucking cold shit, like right at the gravesite. And so, like working the cemetery back in the day wasn't like working it in the day that I was working it, because 2022 as compared to 2011, 2013, I'm like, there was a lot of things that were the same, but a lot of things changed. And it was the people that were changing, and not in a good way. I just, I'd have to deal with grieving mothers. They wouldn't want to leave the fucking gravesite, and they'd fucking cuss me out in Spanish. And I'd tell them in Spanish, you got to go. We're closed. And they'd be like looking at me like I'm heartless. I'm like, look, I said, it's dark. I said, you can't see anything. If it wasn't for my flashlight, they could barely see to get to their vehicles and get out. I mean, it was fucked. And that's one of the things I hated about working in the cemetery. I did it because I had the compassion to do it, and I was good at it. I liked it.
And it was money.
People laughed. Yeah, it was money.
Good money. Yeah.
So. It wasn't good, man. I make more money now working graveyard for another security company. I make the most money I've ever made in California now, working on the graveyard shift, working at a trucking company, let's just say. And I don't do shit, man. I go to work, I fucking smoke cigars, I watch YouTube all night, whatever. Sit in the fucking gatehouse.
Yeah. So.
I just do whatever the fuck I want. What's that?
I guess that's the other side of working security at the cemetery as well. Like, as well as all the crazy psychos that are shooting people in the back of the head, you've also got to deal with grieving people that don't want to leave that body.
Exactly. And, I told him, I said, I don't mean to be heartless. And I told mothers this all the time, and they looked at me like I was a fucking cruel bastard. I'm like, look, I said, for whatever life choices, your son is here. He's buried here. He's going to be taken care of by me tonight. Nobody's going to come and, fuck up the grave or do any bullshit. I'm going to be here to protect him. And he'll be here tomorrow when the cemetery opens, and you can come back and visit him. And like, you promise? I said, I promise. I said, I'm not going to let anybody vandalize the graves or do anything like that or break into the buildings or,
Oh, we had a problem. Well, we had a problem around here where fucking punks would go into graveyards and click over the gravestone. I was like, what is that about? Yeah. Why would you do that?
So in the old part of the cemetery, you remember that guy that did Tap Out Clothing? There was a guy in California that was the owner of Tap Out Clothing. He had this big fucking monumental fucking headstone, right? And it says Tap Out on it, right? He was coming down the Cajon Pass in his Ferrari or Lamborghini. Wife was in the car. He got in a really bad accident. Car got all crunched up. The wife survived, but he died in the accident. So that was in the older part of the cemetery where they had two headstones. So they had the one on the bottom, and then they had the one that would sit on top with the writing on it, right? Mm-hmm. People would come by in the middle of the night and knock the headstones over. Punks. Just have something to do.
Yeah, what the fuck is that? Why would you do that? I mean, where's your head at? Up your ass?
And then the other element to that. Well, the other element to that is I used to find a bunch of fucking bums at night sleeping in the cemetery. Now, these people were fucking drugged out on heroin or whatever. And what I would do with the car, like I had a little Toyota Corolla LE that I was driving, like a 2020 or something, right? So I would creep up on them with the car, and I put the car right on the edge of the fucking curb. And then I'd hit them with the high beams. I'd crank the air horn and just go bump, 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 bump with the air horn. Fucking hit the sirens and all the fucking shit in the fucking siren box. Put on the fucking overhead lights and everything. And I'd be like, hey, get the fuck up. This isn't a fucking hotel. It's not a flop house. Get your fucking dirty ass out of the cemetery right now. You're going to jail. And I'd wake them up. And they'd be mad at me and be yelling and cussing at me. I'm like, fuck out of here. The cemetery. I said, people who are alive do not sleep in the cemetery. Get the fuck out. And I did it a couple times, and I filmed it with my body camera. And then I played it back. It was entertainment. Now, I know that that's kind of cruel, but that's the way I fucking handled the homeless that thought they could sleep in the fucking cemetery. If I could get within 20 feet of them with the car, they're waking the fuck up and leaving. That was for my own enjoyment and entertainment.
Fair enough.
I mean, short of taking a fucking brick of firecrackers and lighting it, throwing it in their direction.
Venue, you need to do something to pass the time.
Oh, sure. You got to entertain yourself. Yeah.
But like I said, I mean, those were rare instances. And, I used to see fucking crazy ass people. There was this one. I can't think of her fucking name now. She was a streetwalker, hooker, right? And she smoked crack, and she had a smoking body, dude. I mean, my God, from behind, you think you're looking at a hard body 20-year-old, right? But her fucking face was old as fuck from the crack.
Right.
And she'd be walking down, she'd be calling herself trash and fucking stepping out off the curb, and cars would be blowing their horns at her and shit. And I guess she'd been abused. Like molested and shit. I don't know. She was fucked up. And I used to see her every night about the same time. And I developed a friendship with her. I'd give her water and stuff. And she asked me one day, she goes, you going to stick it in my butt, Daddy? I said, I'm not your fucking daddy. And no. I said, no. I said, take a water. Have a nice day. Whatever. Give her some food. I never gave her money. Just trying to help them out. Just let them know, hey, you can't come in the cemetery. You got to leave. I'd catch her at the fucking spigots sometimes in the daytime, stripped down to her fucking skivvies, taking a bath with that dirty ass cemetery water. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm taking a bath. I'm like, not in the cemetery, you're not. Well, they said it was okay. I said, I don't know who told you it was okay. It's not okay. And that water has amoeba in it. I said, germs and shit. I said, you don't want to get it on your skin. You don't want to drink it. She was drinking right out of the fucking spigot. I'm like, fuck, dude. I mean, it was just fucking disgusting. Like, you know, just, I have enough lifetime stories of working in the cemetery to know that unless I was making 50, 60 grand a year, I wouldn't go back to it. I'm not going to do it.
Right.
I make about 40,000 a year now with raises and vacation pay and overtime doing what I do on graveyard. It's not a great job. It's pretty solitary and lonely, but I like it. I don't have any oversight. There's no micromanaging. Like I said, I go to work. I sit in the gatehouse for 8 hours. I eat my lunch. I fucking watch YouTube. I listen to audio stories, podcasts, whatever. Smoke my fucking cigars. I take the golf cart and patrol the fucking parking lot and the building and the surrounding areas. I mean, I got it fucking made doing what I'm doing. And I'm not really working. Like, I make it look easy, but I've been doing the same type of stuff, contract security, for like 27 years. I mean, I don't see myself stopping anytime soon.
Hey, you found a place you belong, and that's where you belong. So yeah.
For now.
Oh, well, yeah, and Wendell's is back in Australia, wherever the fuck that is. That's why she's on like a 9-second delay when we talk to her.
I mean, it's cool. I mean, like I said, like, America's different from any other place, and I get it. And when you're working in these low, impoverished neighborhoods that have really nice cemeteries, you don't want to see people going and fucking up the statues or spraying graffiti.
Oh no, yeah, because the people who put those there, like the angel statues and the good gravestones, they paid out their ass to make that happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, I had a guy.
It doesn't matter what they paid. It's just a matter of respect for the dead.
I had a guy on Father's Day that same year, 2022. And the guy was high on drugs, right? And he was fucking sleeping. And his pants came down around his ass crack. And there were flies and shit buzzing around on his ass. And he's laying at a gravesite. And a mother came up to me and she's like, look, she goes, I got a guy over there by my gravesite with his pants down, showing his dick and everything. And can you wake him up and get him going? I said, no problem. Got out of the car, woke him up, and he spit at me 3 times. 3 times he spit at me. I pepper sprayed him. I fucking launched a whole can of pepper spray in his face. He started crying. He started crying and puking through his nose and talking shit. I had put it on my Salty Rant YouTube channel, but I took it down. A lot of people wanted to go ahead and make fun of me for pepper spraying a dude, but when a guy's trying to spit in my face on me, that's considered assault in the state of California.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Yeah, that is
now,
assault.
I could have hit him in the fucking face with my baton. That would have been going a little far, but I could have swept his legs. But you know what? I figured the guy's drunk. He's high on fucking drugs. He's having an emotional breakdown. His fucking kids seen him, and his fucking niece came, and she's like, oh, you pepper sprayed him. You're going to go to jail. I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
said, exactly. Take this fat piece of shit with you. And then I had a fucking young supervisor who was like 25 years old. And he was talking shit to me. And like, you know, I'm old enough to be his father at this time. I'm 55 years old, right? Mm-hmm. And he's trying to fucking dress me down in front of the family and this and that and the fucking sister. And they're looking at me like, oh, we're going to sue you. I said, go ahead. I said, however, I have it on body camera that your brother got up in my face, threatened me, spit on me 3 times. And that's why he got pepper sprayed. I said, no, I could have been an asshole and I could have beat him like Rodney King. I said, I didn't do that because it's not personal to me. I'm doing a job. He was in here laying down, passed out. His ass crack was shown. I got that on video as well. Submitted everything to the office and like, oh, you need to go for more sensitivity training. I'm like, no, we ain't doing that shit. I said, if I go for sensitivity training, you're getting a fucking lawsuit. And they're like, excuse me? And I told the owner of the company, I said, if you send me for sensitivity training for a guy spitting in my face, I said, I'm going to sue the fuck out of you. I said, because now you're putting me in a hostile working environment.
Yep.
And I had no backup. Cops wouldn't respond because Father's Day was like a holiday in San Bernardino. There were no cops to come. When they found out I pepper sprayed him and all the shit, they didn't send medical. Medical was too afraid to come. I said, the guy's subdued. I don't have him in cuffs. I could put him in cuffs. I'm not going to waste my time. Right now, he's puking his guts out, crying and shit. I said, I just want him to fucking leave. And I said, I'd like medical to come take a look at him, make sure he's okay. But they didn't come, and his family picked him up and got him the fuck out of there. And he never came back to the cemetery, never lawsuited the cemetery, never tried to lawsuit me, never tried to lawsuit my company, because he knew ultimately, deep down, he was wrong and he fucked up.
He was in the wrong.
Well,
yeah, he was in the wrong.
He was in the wrong, and you don't spit at people. Like, he's like, I'm gonna fuck you up. I'm like, take your fucking shot. Come on, big boy. I probably fucking should have just backed up and not engaged him. But, you know, when you fucking threaten me because I'm doing my job and you act all personal, fuck you. All bets are off. Like I said, I'm not a fucking floor mat you wipe your feet on. You're the floor mat I'm gonna wipe my feet on one way or another, whether it's with my boot, kicking you in the fucking guts, or pepper spraying your ass. And if you don't like my attitude, don't fuck with me. A lot of people thought I worked for another company, and they tried to call that company and have me fired. And it was a previous employer. And it was great because they didn't like the way I treated the guy on camera, pepper spraying him and shit. But motherfucker had it coming. You don't spit on somebody and expect somebody like me in security not to do anything or react. I'm sorry. That was straight up assault. You're going to assault me? I'm going to fucking pepper spray the shit out of you. And I did. And when I was done, I had to go buy a new can of pepper spray. It was the Stream, the liquid Stream that came out. And that shit was super fucking effective. Oh my God, dude. It just took a grown man and put him in the fetal position. I'm not proud of it. Okay. But I'm not going to back away from it. And, you know, according to the cops, I did everything right. They're like, hey, guy goes to spit on us, we're going to fucking feed him his teeth. They're going to pop out of his mouth like chiclets. So you did the right thing. I'm like, I just didn't want to fucking fuck the guy up too bad because I have to use equal amount of force as what's being used on me. Now, he outweighed me by like 300 pounds. He was a big dude. He was drunk. His fucking pants were falling down around his fucking dick. And so, I mean, I could have just pushed him over a couple times, but I didn't really want to have that kind of contact with him. And all the other people in the cemetery looked at it and were watching me do this to him. And like, well, he spit on the guy. Like he made the conscious effort to spit on me 3 times. And I'm just like, I'm done, dude. Like, I don't know what's in his mouth. I don't know if he's got AIDS or HIV or Hep C, Hep A, whatever. And he took the fucking shot.
Yeah.
He took the fucking shot, and I just fucking loaded on him with pepper spray. You know. And then he's crying. I'm like, here, wipe your eyes. And I gave him a washcloth to wipe his eyes, knowing that if he wiped his eyes, it would burn even more. Because he was still talking shit. Like, I'm going to get up and I'm going to fuck you up. I'm like, motherfucker, I said, you ain't going to do shit. I sit there on the ground like the piece of shit you are, cry your eyes out like the little fucking baby back bitch that you are. You caused this. I'm the fucking end result. I said, then you're going to carry your ass out of the cemetery, and I bet you don't come back. He didn't come back. Ever.
No.
I don't work there anymore, so he could have come back, but I'm sure he remembered the Pinchy Loco Wedo.
He wasn't going to risk it. He wasn't going to risk it.
You know, he was a big fat Mexican dude, and I'm sure he remembered the Pinchy Loco Wedo that gave him some pepper spray therapy for his actions. But, you know, like, I noticed a shift in the behavior of the people in the cemetery from the time that I first worked there in 2013. I didn't like it. I didn't care for it. I mean, I hated my job. By the time I left that company and went on to do other types of security, I will never go back to the cemetery ever again. Now, if I'm slumming, I want to go and visit a friend. What's that?
Security cameras now? Do a lot of the cemeteries not have monitored security cameras now, or they still got foot security?
Yeah, no, the main building had security cameras and alarms and all that. The maintenance building had the same, but they even had a crematorium that had its own cameras. And the operators would go in at night and cremate people, throw them in the oven, burn them down to ash, grind up their ashes and stuff. But cook them up like a fucking pizza. But, I'm just like, and I've been in there. I'm like, I've seen all manner of bodies. In fact, I helped them lift a really big fat woman. She was on a special plate that they had made especially for her because she was like 600 fucking pounds. Jeez. And when you walked in the fucking, like, I don't know if you know this is kind of gross, but this is the state of bodies when they're being shoveled into a fucking big ass fucking freezer for cremation. They got like maybe 20 bodies in there, and they're going to burn like 7 or 8 a night, depending on the size of the person, right? They're going to have to lean out the oven, and get the right temperature. So a big 600-pound person takes about 8 hours to burn down to ash. They're fucking huge, right? So they got this person on a plate. So me and 3 other people loaded him into the fucking oven. And then they took the fucking plate away. And the plate was all covered in ooze. And the person was leaking ooze out of their fucking body. Like a clear gel.
Yeah, ooze is a nice way to put it. I like that. Ooze. It was
sorry.
Ooze. Yeah.
It was ooze. I like it. Yeah. That's my word for it. Ooze. Yeah. Anyway, you would smell the formaldehyde and everything, that they used to try to keep the bodies, semi fucking ripe. Because they're fucking dead, and it's dead cells and everything, and it's just the smell that you get in your fucking nose. I went in there one day with my buddy. My buddy was working there, and he showed me a body of a little baby, no bigger than my hand, newborn baby.
And fucking hell.
And it was fucking horrible, right? And I had that image in my head, but the fucking smell in the fucking crematorium going into the freezer, and it was like in a little egg crate box and everything, and they took the body out and they put it back in the egg crate box, and they had this big fucking flat plate with a big long handle, like a pizza shovel almost, right? Yeah. Like you would see in the pizzerias, and they put the baby in it, and within minutes the baby was burned down to ash, and then they fucking cleaned it out, But they had this fucking big mixer in there. And this guy never used to wear a mask. He'd just be fucking smoking his cigarettes and shit, and fucking he'd burn down the fucking body and then take all the hot ashes and put them in a fucking mixer and start mixing it, smashing all the bones and everything down. I'm like, Christ, dude. I'm like, how do you breathe that fucking shit? And he's like, it doesn't bother me, man. I've been doing this for years. Smoking his fucking non-filter cigarettes and shit while he's crunching the body down into ash. I'm like, you know what? I said, I'm going to go back outside and do what I do. I said, you do what you do. Right. Well, the ovens kept having problems because they were old, and they used to have to keep getting rebuilt from the inside out because, new bricks and everything. Uh-huh. This guy, they called him Hatter. He was an old dude. He'd been there for like 40 years, burning bodies. Old hippie dude, right? He fucking didn't lean the ovens like he should have, and the fucking flames were blowing out the stacks. And it was blowing black soot everywhere. Somebody called the fucking fire department, and I had a ladder truck and a couple hose trucks, pumper trucks coming in, thinking the fucking cemetery was on fire one night because he didn't lean the ovens like he was supposed to. There was a new computer program. He wasn't really good with the computer settings. So he just fired up the fucking ovens. He didn't fucking lean them out like he should have. And it was blowing black soot everywhere. So the fire department came thinking the cemetery was on fire. I'm like, you gotta be fucking shitting me, dude. Like, it was a big to-do. Well, finally they retired him, and they had a whole new group of people coming in. And, I was making like 15, 16 bucks an hour doing the unarmed security, right? And for like 18, 19, they had guys working for the cemetery driving white vans, going and picking up bodies and delivering them to all the morgues, picking them up from the morgues or people's houses or whatever for either burial or cremation, right? And I'm just like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I knew what the white vans were. And they'd be like, hey, can you help us carry a body in? I'm like, fuck no, I'm not getting anywhere near it. I said, not my job description. I said, with all that ooze leaking out of it, I'm like, nope, I'm good. And there was a lot of ooze. Trust me. They had a mop bucket and a squeegee and some other shit. I mean, it was just disgusting.
God, I'm glad I got to eat my dinner before we got on to use.
I mean, the fucking ooze is just, I'm just like, fuck, dude. Like, really? Seriously? Like, you go through this every day? And they're like looking at me like,
well,
no big
that's
deal.
it. As soon as you stop breathing, you start decomposing, and it's pretty quick.
Yeah. For some people, it's quick. You know, but I was just like, what the fuck? Like, I could do without the ooze. Trust me.
He fucking slimed me, man. God damn it.
Huh?
Like Ghostbusters, you got slime.
Oh, no, it was a Ghostbuster joke. My bad.
It was just fucking gross. Like, you know, like.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And so these guys that would haul the bodies and shit, they're always wearing rubber gloves. And you gotta always wear rubber gloves because you don't know if the person had like skin diseases or whatever, you know, or you didn't want to get their fucking shit all over your fucking hands and then get your hands infected or whatever. You know, people could have MRSA or whatever. It was gross, dude. Like, and they're like, oh, you want to haul body? I'm like, fuck no, dude. I said, you know what? I said, bodies don't scare me. And I asked a couple of guys, I said, hey, I said, when you're driving down the freeway and you got like 10 bodies in the back, I said, can you drive in the carpool lane? He goes, it's funny you asked that. He goes, because no, we can't drive in the carpool lane because they're considered human remains. In order to drive in the carpool lane, it's like 2 persons or more. I'm like, well, you got 10 people on board. He goes, I know. He goes, we had a hearse driver that tried that and got pulled over by highway patrol because he was running late. And the fucking cop had no sense of humor whatsoever. Wrote him a huge ass ticket, like a $400 ticket for driving in the carpool lane. And I'm like, fuck, dude, really? I'm like, yeah, they got no sense of humor. They consider bodies human remains, not people. I'm like, okay. I said, so that's out. Because that was my first reaction. Like, hey, if I got to get somewhere and I got somebody in a fucking hearse or whatever, and I'm driving to a funeral home, I just go in the carpool lane. Can't do it. I've already checked into it.
Fair enough.
You would think that they wouldn't worry about a hearse with a unalive passenger. You think they just like overlook the hearse?
Well, no. Like the cops here, especially Highway Patrol. Highway Patrol is the anal version of all police in California. They got no sense of humor. If you try to pull a fast one on them, they're gonna fuck you with tickets. And they fucked this guy with tickets. In fact, what I heard is the story was the guy was a accredited Marine. He was in the Marines. He was in his fucking Marine uniform. He was in a casket. They had the flag draped over the casket, and he was running late for the service because of the actual fucking traffic. So he thought he'd skirt in the carpool lane, and he got fucking hammered before he could get out of the carpool lane. And it fucking, like, it made him super late for the fucking service, and, you know, all manner of shit. So you can't drive in the carpool lane with dead bodies. They're considered human remains, not humans. Or 2 or more persons. He's like, well, I got 10 of them on board. I got a guy in the back. And the cop had no fucking sense of humor and shit. And he's like, come on. He goes, the guy's a veteran. He goes, I don't care. He goes, you know you're not supposed to be in the carpool lane. So, you know, he got fucking hammered with a bunch of tickets. Or one really large ticket. So I thought that would be interesting. Like, I've got enough to write a chapter out of a book, but I don't ever want to smell the shit that I smelled in that fucking freezer in the crematorium. I don't ever want to set foot in a crematorium ever again. Ever.
Oh, yeah. The smell of
I don't. Oh, it's just it's fucking horrible. And I don't ever.
Is fucking unforgettable. Yeah.
You know what was fucked up is I didn't even have it on my fingers, but it went into my nose. So later that night when I went home, I tried to eat and I kept smelling that fucking smell. I'm like, oh, motherfucker. I said, went into my fucking nose and I couldn't get that smell out of my nose. Gross.
Oh, let me say hi to Justin T. I'm sorry about that, man. We were talking about morbid shit here, but that's what we do on the channel. So, yeah.
You know, it's funny. I was accused of coming to your live streams and shit talking a certain person that you and I have in common, Rex.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk to you about.
It's me, isn't it, you bastards? I know you're talking about me. Just kidding.
Well,
just kidding.
yeah. I mean, and why he tried to crawl up my ass, I do not fucking know.
I'm going to tell you something, and you know, you can take it for what it is. I did a live stream earlier.
Yeah,
and
I watched.
I had Hillbilly Man on my live stream, and it was a good live stream. I mean, like, you know, Hillbilly Man and LG and all the rest of them, they're welcome to come over anytime you want. You know, you're welcome to come over anytime you want. And so I did the live stream because, you know, I've been off of YouTube for a while now. Mm-hmm. And I've made a couple videos, you know, a couple live streams here and there. But, you know, I want to tell people that I'm trying to be a better Christian. I never said I was a born-again Christian. That's something Dumbass said. I just refer to him as Dumbass.
That's your choice, you know.
Yeah, that's my choice.
Somebody else to choose for you. Yeah,
exactly. And so he's trying to go ahead and get that. You remember that stalker that came to my house? The big fucking homeless bum, the guy that took me to court last year and lost. Fucking personal lawsuit and shit. So anyway, he's trying to get this guy all riled up to come back to my fucking house and do some dumb shit. Look, he's telling me I need to stop between me and this guy. Who the fuck is he, number one, to tell me anything? Number two, why the fuck does he care where I go and what I say unless he's obsessed with me? And I told him today, I was wearing my black fedora hat that Paul and Fullerton bought for me for my 57th birthday before he left to go do his new job. And I was outside smoking cigars in the backyard because that's what I do. And I looked into the camera telling him how I win, how I'm living rent-free in his fucking feeble mind, how he doesn't have a relationship with any woman other than his mother and his grandmother. 43 years old, probably still a virgin. Probably. I don't care. I don't care what his thing is. I don't care if he's a virgin or not. But he's mad because I am going ahead. Yeah, so this guy that came into the back here.
Yeah.
Don't C of D or C with D or whatever. That's fucking the idiot we're talking about. Anyway.
Well, then he can sit there for a while. Yeah.
Anyway, he's mad because I talk truth about him. Like, you know, and I'm sure you've heard the story, and I'll say it. I'll recap it one more time for everybody who doesn't know. Because a lot of your viewers and stuff don't know. Last year, I think it was March 12th of 2023, Dum Dum, he kept fucking goading me and Paul and Fullerton to come find him and expose him to YouTube and La La Land, our words, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was cashing checks with his mouth that his ass couldn't cash, basically. He was writing checks with his mouth that his ass couldn't cash because I found him 2 days later through the help of a former friend, someone who's now passed away.
Mm.
And because of this friend, and you know who she was. She was a great lady. We all loved her.
Yes, she was. Yeah.
It's funny because me and my buddy Paul were talking about it tonight. He goes, you realize if she hadn't found him and told us about it, that we might not have found him as quickly as we did. I'm like, I know, right? Who would have thought to look at Facebook? Well, that's how we found him. He had a Facebook, and it was open to the plunder. He used his first and middle name, but we know what his real name is. And as soon as I found him, and I told everybody about it, like, don't be hasty, Salty. Like, do your due diligence, make sure it's him. As soon as I heard this fucking guy speaking, talking to a cop in the middle of winter one day, I was like, what the fuck, bro? Like, seriously? And I knew it was him. And so I was like, okay. So I'm like, So I found him, and I exposed him, just like he wanted me to, right? Well, as a result of exposing this guy, then he wanted to hide behind YouTube's terms of service and try to get me for doxing. But yet he invited me to dox and expose him. He challenged me, he goaded me, and then he dared me. Sorry, but if you do all that, I'm going to find you, I'm going to expose you, and a year and a half later, he's still fucking crying about it. I'm like, come on, bro. Seriously.
Well, I've done over 5 years of live streams, And I defy him to find one where he came up on panel and said a fucking word.
He never has. He won't.
That's right. That's right.
And I'm gonna bring up another point. So, he's after Dragon Classy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really get along with her, and it's well known. And I don't harbor any grudges. I'm not, dropping her name everywhere I go. I'm not shit talking her or ghost or whatever. I just walked away from her. I'm like, fuck it. I'm not gonna get along with certain people on the internet. That's fine. That's cool. I don't need to keep shit talking people. But this one person in particular won't shut the fuck up. And they're like, oh, you got receipts with that? I'm like, I've got receipts. And when I showed the screenshot from over a year and a half ago that he had posted in a community tab on his channel, he's mad. He's mad like a mug. He's mad, and he's letting me live rent-free in that brain of his. And now he's trying to initiate some kind of dialogue. I don't care to have any dialogue with him. I blocked him a long time ago. He used to tag me in comments, and it got to the point where the guy was tagging me every time he went live. So now, shoes on the other foot, I keep tagging him in all my tags. If you go to look at any of the videos I posted, and you look at the tags, you'd be like, oh my God, it's that good.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, look, I'm gonna drop something in the back chat. I kicked that fucking. No, you're not getting up here. You can keep trying, but you're not gonna make it. I'm just saying. But yeah, if you want to join my Discord, there it is.
If he really is who he says he is, then I take it back. But even that guy knows exactly what I'm talking about as far as dumbass. We just call him dumbass, right?
Okay, look, I'm gonna put myself front and center, and I'm gonna let this fuck up because apparently he's got something to say. Okay, fair enough. Okay, but yeah, click on my Discord, join my Discord, and yeah, we'll talk about this later. And yeah, but fuck this guy. We'll see what he's got to say. But like I said, I'm going center stage.
Yeah.
Just in case he wants to whip his dick out or whatever. If he's got one.
Hey,
okay.
What's up, y'all? I'm not Abe. I don't know if you think I was Abe or something. I was coming up to let you know I'm not fucking Abe, bro.
Okay,
well,
so if you
kind of talk like Abe, but that's okay.
I'm sorry, I'm not Abe. Salty, you know me. I used to
Yeah.
go by ASMR.
Yeah.
You remember from the shit show?
You used to hang out with the shit show and all those guys over there.
Well, I started the shit show and then moved on to greener pastures, but say
But
love
you know all about Abe. I mean, fuck,
I
dude.
don't.
All the fucking
Hold on a second. Abe just showed up in our fucking corner like a few weeks ago, bro. Like,
seriously? Did he get blocked?
Well, dude, he has more sock accounts blocked than any just about Connie.
He's got like 90 accounts, at least 90 accounts.
He does.
Miss Joe has blocked a good majority of them and shit. Every time I go live, he brings up these fucking crazy ass names and tries to say shit like, hey, are you going to let Mouse up? I'm like, no.
What?
And then I just block him. Like, what the fuck? Like, why? I wouldn't do that. For those people that don't know, Mouse is a guy on the internet who's an actual registered pedophile.
Rex A. Fredrickson.
Yeah, I'm not going to say the name, but anyway.
Yeah.
So everybody, I don't know. It's just fucked up. Like the guy
I didn't
is
understand the ham radio. Were you like in ham radio like Abe?
No. But so this is what happened. So when I found him on fucking Facebook through a mutual friend who's now passed away. She was the one that was going through Lady Di's Facebook, and a name kept appearing. Then she went to his Facebook and found Lady Di's name, and she's like, could this be who we think it is? And so that's how it all came about. I was not actively looking for Abe. Paul and Fullerton was not looking for Abe. We didn't give a shit about Abe because years ago, I don't know if you guys remember this, but years ago, like, I don't think Rex knows this, but years ago when Abe first started going to Lady Di's, he talked about being a security guard in Rockford, Illinois, not about being public safety or former law enforcement or any of that shit, being on the CERT team. And he used to go by Agent Orange, and then he used to go by the name Brett, but he was never called Bradley or, what his Facebook was.
You said Agent Orange and then what?
Agent Orange and then Brett.
Brett?
Brett. B-R-E-T-T.
Wow.
Anyway, that's what Lady Di used to call him. And so this guy would talk and talk and talk and talk. And every time Lady Di had a full panel, myself included, everybody would fucking leave the panel because nobody wanted to hear this guy. He was a blowhard. Like, fucking shut up, dude. You're running everybody off the panel. So then when he came back after a couple of years, then he was a former Leo. He worked for the CERT team. And to be an asshole, when I was fighting with him back in the day, I basically did a video of, I took a screenshot of a toilet with shit all over it. And he spelled CERT S-E-R-T. So I'm like, it was supposed to be Sheriff's Emergency Response Team, but I'm like, Sheriff's Emergency Restroom Team, and then I changed it to Shithouse Emergency Restroom Team. And boy, I mean, it went off like a lead balloon, but it was great.
So you've known him for a while, Salty. Like, how long have you and Rex and everybody known him?
I've known about Rex for almost as long as I've been on YouTube.
I mean, how long have you guys known Abe?
What's that?
How long have you guys known?
How long you known the naughty person?
Fuck, man. Like, I can't. Maybe 2016, 2017, when I was talking to Lady Di. And then, like, he disappeared for a couple of years, and then all of a sudden he came back, and now he's asking people to give him respect because he's former law enforcement. Look, I'll tell you right now, he's never a cop. He worked at Rockford University as a public safety security guard. He was talking about all this shit, like he's a hot shit cop. He's had all this training. And, when I found him, he fucking went crazy and said, oh, that's just some rando guy on the internet. He's a cop and a firefighter. I'm like, how would you know that? Number one, if he's some rando guy on the fucking internet. Number two, it's you, because we heard you speak. We know your fucking name. And then shortly thereafter, documents started coming out about this guy not paying his Illinois state income tax. He doesn't have a guard card. When Rockford University did away with their police force, they also had security at the time, and he was a security guard, not a police officer for the university. They went with a private company. I can't remember the name now, White Star or something. Maybe, I'm not sure. And they went ahead and started looking at all the people that were working there when they went to straight security for Rockford University. They started doing background checks, and upon doing the background check, they found out that, I call him Bradley Bullshit, but he goes by Not So Honest Abe, or Dishonest Abe, that he didn't have his security licensing through the state of Illinois because he didn't pay his income taxes, and they pulled his license. They ripped it away from him. So he couldn't stay at Rockford University as a public safety / security guard because you can't work a job in security without a security license. And he had a lot of he said a lot of shit like, oh, the department got disbanded. It didn't get disbanded. I mean, Rockford University decided to just go with security. They still have police, but
I think he said Rick Crude had something to do with that.
Look, when him and Rick Crude and Lady Di were fighting and they were all going to the cops and filing reports on each other, I'm like, whatever, dude. And then Abe's trying to say that he was working undercover for Rockford University Police and Rockford Police and then Tucson Police trying to fucking ensnare Rick Crude. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like,
I'll be honest with you, dude. I feel sorry for the guy.
I don't.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
No.
Like me and, like, I think, does he just want friends? Like, I noticed, like, he does, like, talk. Like, he can talk. Like, I can talk, and I've had to, work and train and develop, the stamina and modality and things like that. He will go live for hours.
Yeah, he did an 8-hour live stream.
Yeah, he
Like
did
2
the 8
days
hour
ago.
stream. The night before that, he did 4 hours on his panel and took a 10-minute break and popped over on Tonics and did like another 3 or 4, like fucking nothing.
I mean, just like, so I don't believe the guy's got a job. He must be getting some kind of unemployment or disability or
or he
something.
may be sitting there as a security guard. He says that he is a sworn officer and
Fuck
has
that.
arrest powers and a
Fuck that
issued
guy.
weapon. And it went to like badges and shit. And I tried to explain to him, I was like, bro, when you come floating around in some like, scam baiting, communities that bust people out, you're gonna get fucking grilled. And
Oh, yeah.
my problem with fucking Abe is he sent an email to fucking We the People Tower Wars and put the shit show, which I'm sorry for a period there that can that ties me
Yep.
to it either way.
Yep.
So I'm not happy about that shit.
And so he did the same thing with me and Paul and Fullerton and everything. And so I was talking, you remember Swammy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Swammy, when he fucking got back in good graces with Lady Di, he kept asking me, hey, where do you work now? I'm like, and I told him, I said, I went back to work for APG, American Protective Group out of Anaheim. I'm working for some mosques and stuff. I never did work for a mosque, but I did work for APG, but it was like late 2018 or early 2019, maybe even late 2019. I'm not sure, but it was an old employer. And I told Swammy and I forgot about it. And I sent him a text and shit, whatever. And I just totally fucking forgot about it. Well, come to find out, Swammy was talking to Bradley. And Bradley decided that, he was going to fucking tell We the People Tarrant Wars. We the People Tarrant Wars thought they had gotten my actual employer. And We the People Tarrant Wars, I've been fighting with that guy for years, right?
Who do you think it is?
Here.
Who do you think Billy Bob is?
Huh?
Who do you think that Billy Bob is?
At this point, I don't even want to say because I could be.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I know Abe. Abe was so kind to take each character and give me his whatever take is on who plays the character.
Yeah. And well, I could talk about the. I could talk about the Mary Jane Rottencrotch connection.
Yeah, I think we already know about that one. So yeah, I just wanted to come up and let you guys know I am not Abe. If you do see a sock account with me running around, I mean, I'm sorry. There's fucking stupid people out there. I don't know. Like, we're praying for Abe. I know he wants friends, and maybe he's a little bit awkward. But he's definitely being fucking hazed by pretty much everybody. That's for sure. That's all I know.
Well, he wants to find my current employer now, and he wants to get me fired. And I'm like, my job has nothing to do with YouTube. I've been saying this for years.
I'll be honest with you, bro.
I said this with Mary Jane Rottencrotch and the trolls from Discord.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. Like, I've been listening to Abe for the past few weeks now, and like when he brings you up, he's just like, whatever, and he moves on. I haven't heard him like do any, like he hadn't been bitching about you. That's why I didn't, know. I know you guys have history and everything. And
well, he's got. I don't know if you remember Colton Wood. You probably heard enough from me about Colton Wood. Anyway, Colton Wood, he went to court last year, and I didn't show up for court. I ducked service like a motherfucker. I put Ring doorbells on my house. First time I went to court, no big deal. Paul and Fullerton went to court with me, was sitting next to me. Fucking the adjudicator on the phone's like, the mediator's like, hey, Mr. Stefano, he goes, we're going to go ahead and dismiss the case because Mr. Wood never checked in. Colton Wood jumped up. He's like, what the fuck? Get back here. He chased me throughout the courthouse, and I was running. I was running for the stairs. I had tears in my eyes. I was laughing so hard. He tried to go through the one-way x-ray area, and he had 12 Orange County Sheriff's deputies holding him back, restraining him. He went in all the courtrooms, and the fucking judge reset the case to August 3rd. And he's like, you're going to have to serve Mr. Stefano, me, Salty Rant. Tried to come back and service me with papers to go to court. I ducked service like a motherfucker. I didn't take it. I didn't even go to court. Didn't even go to court. And it's not illegal to duck service. So the adjudicator had him present all of his facts. And so he copied all this shit off the internet, like, videos that people did on me, me wearing a wig, all kinds of shit from my past, right? So about a month later, I got the fucking notification from the court that says the defendant and my full legal name does not have to pay the defendant. My full legal name doesn't have to pay the plaintiff, Colton Wood, any money. Case closed. So when that happened, Colton Wood went fucking crazy, and he was facing an eviction and all the shit he was doing. You know, getting in trouble with all the cops, all the crazy 911 calls, wasting the cops' time, and getting 5250 holds and all that. So now Abe has decided to take it upon himself to talk to Colton Wood and try to stir him up. And I have a screenshot from the Honest Abe community posting where Colton Wood is talking to him, saying he didn't know me in 2015. He didn't dox me, which he did. And Abe is trying to meddle in my affairs with other people because he can't control my narrative. He doesn't like me talking about how I found him and I exposed him. I'm the guy on YouTube that found him and exposed him within 2 days of him making his last challenge to me in 2023. He doesn't like that.
Weird.
Yeah,
so he's trying to meddle.
Well, look,
and
I'm gonna head off, people. I want to do a few things in the house before I lay my head down to sleep.
Oh, go do your Australian shit in the winter.
Hell yeah. Watch out for drop bears, bro.
That's
Oh,
fine.
don't get her started. Don't get her started on drop bear. Yeah.
nice talking to you, Wendy. I appreciate you letting me up on panel to talk to you. There's just a lot of YouTube drama just everywhere, and I'm just trying to fucking stay away.
Take
Thanks,
care,
Wendy.
Wendy. Love the hat.
Take it easy, Wendy.
Love the hat.
See ya.
Alright.
I will
Alright,
talk
guys.
to you later. Take care.
No.
So you basically want him to leave you alone? Is that
You know, he used to tag me in all these posts and shit, and I asked him, like, if I did a live stream and I was talking about something completely different, he would post it on his community tab. Technically, he would post it in its entirety, and he wouldn't make it his under the fair use guidelines. But I asked him to remove it, he wouldn't do it. I asked him to stop tagging me, he wouldn't stop tagging me. So it got to the point where he was so out of control with the tagging that I just basically blocked him, and I'm not mentioned on YouTube anymore. I don't get any more tag messages, anything like that.
Oh yeah.
I don't have time in the day for this guy. I really don't.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, he tagged me once in a post, and I did a live stream that I had to delete because there was a lot of copyright claims on the music in the video that I did. But yeah, he tried to come in and oh, hey, look, groveling and shit, and I was like, no, I stomped his nuts because I knew where he's fucking coming from. Yeah. I was like, no, don't even fucking start that shit here because it's not gonna fly.
Well, boy, he got his ass reamed this past yesterday, and I think he might have got his attention.
We got his ass reamed on Paulie Crispy's.
Well, it's by who he got his
$3
ass reamed by and what he got it reamed over. And
That's
if
where
there's
I'm at.
anybody I think got a hold of Abe's attention, it might have been who reamed his ass yesterday morning. I'm gonna leave their name and anonymous at this point, but I'll just say that's kind of the thing we've been trying to figure out. Is like, does he just want friends? Does he want attention? Like, what's going on here? And it's like, Abe, I've told him from the beginning. Like, I went and I left YouTube like 6 months, came back, and I seen Abe running around and everybody fucking just popping him, bashing him and everything. And I said, damn, this motherfucker must know where the bodies were buried. And that was like a joke. Then I seen like all the tags and the posts and the videos and the sock accounts, and I'm like, dude, if I get bopped in the chat, I take my ban and move on. Like, if they don't want me, then whatever, And
if they don't want you, it's like, why would you even go back? But like, Abe is obsessed. I told him early on, I said, you have no self-control. Look, he probably, this is just my opinion now, so you take it for what it is. Throw it in the gutter, tell me to shove it up my ass, I don't care. It's all good. Abe never got enough love as a kid. He was raised by his mother and his grandmother, and there's nothing wrong with that. I know a lot of people that don't have fathers grew up with no male role models in his life, but there was a Facebook posting when I found him early on, and he went to like some junior police event when he was 8, and a cop pinned a ribbon on his shirt or whatever, and he had delusions of grandeur as being a cop. He's never posted any kind of a post certification. He's mad because I call him stolen valor because he said he was in the Marines. Look.
Oh, he said he was in the Marines?
Yeah, showing a fucking badge.
No way. There's
No.
way.
Showing a fucking badge. Look, showing a fucking badge is not proof of police service. Like, I don't know if you know who I Could Be as ASMR.
Oh, this funny thing is he was confusing I Could Be and Naven with each other.
Yeah.
And they've been going through this whole badge thing with him, and they're the wrong ones to fuck around with this shit because most of them are ex-fucking Leo.
And I don't get along with either one of them, Naven or I Could Be, and that's fine. I don't need to. But back in the day,
you may get along with them now. You guys may trauma bond over it because they fucking pissed them off so fucking bad.
Maybe, but the one thing I can say about I Could Be is his shit has been verified. He was a former sheriff's deputy. He was a cop somewhere else when he graduated the police academy, and I seen a picture of him on Discord in his fucking uniform right out of the academy. So he's got that going for him. His shit is verified.
I haven't seen Naven, and I don't know Naven all too well, but I've never seen Naven this animated since he busted out. Since they busted out Beware Mouse.
Oh, and I mean, everybody's busted out.
Abe said the shit about how Naven was supporting Mouse, and that was all it took for everybody, you know. And I mean, I even told him, I was like, dude, Abe, if you watch the whole video, there was a 15-year-old there. They were trying to assess the situation. Can the bus be moved? How are the condition of the tires? Where are they? Do we, who should do what, when, where, why, and how? And he's like, well, I didn't see the whole video. And it's like, well, Abe, I know you feel like you've got to correct the record and you feel like you've been just, injustice and shit. But at the end of the day, bro, like, who cares? That was yesterday. This is now. What do you want to do? And I keep asking him his end game. I want to know what his end goal is. And he finally admitted it's a game. I said, well, sometimes people just, it's like you bring somebody into a group and they get hazed. And part of it is, like Tonic said, it's your kind of curtailing their behavior and correcting it to be, fit a little more. And I think Abe, he wants attention. Like I don't know his upbringing and things like that. I told him, I was like, you should start the new series. He keeps talking about touching grass. I was like, bro, you can go and go and do some outside videos and fucking search for Aggies like Huckleberry.
Grow a garden or something. Get a fucking hobby other than me. And
I got a fig tree that I put in the fucking backyard like well over 4 or 5 years ago, and the thing's like 6 foot tall now.
What did he do to you, Rex?
Oh, he just came at me for no fucking reason. So yeah, I showed him the goddamn door with my foot in his ass. Is what it did.
Yep, that's what you got to do sometime. And I told him, I was like, bro, if you fuck up, because he gets a lot of names wrong. Have you seen his intro?
No, I have not watched any of his shit. He has not been on any of my
Evil Terry made Abe an intro. It's called Honest Abe YouTube Detective. If you'd like to play it, it's in the basement. I put a couple animated GIFs just to liven it up. It's fucking awesome.
Is it like the adventures of Tammy Finfin that Booty Ward did on Tammy?
It's AI generated. It's like a metal band. It goes Honest Abe YouTube Detective. Here we go.
He's a YouTube detective, but he's kind of offbeat. Every clue he finds leads him to the wrong street. Honest Abe, YouTube detective, always one step behind.
God damn it, man. Evil Terry, I miss that guy. Oh, that's
searching through the comments, looking for the truth. How about the apples? But his theories are wild, like a roller coaster booth. He's got a million trolls, but they're all there for the fun. Got receipts for that. Even though he solves nothing, he always gets a ton of fun.
That's hilarious.
Hell
Damn.
yeah. Shout out to Evil Terry and the Robots. I took some of the lyrics and just made animated gifs, so we had something to look at. But yeah, Evil Terry came up with this because like Abe came in and he's everywhere. Like he is fucking everywhere, and like
He
everybody's
loves the
like,
attention. And you know, if it's a game, it's fine. I don't care. I don't hate the man. I don't have any hatred really for anybody on the internet. I got rid of that a long time ago, but just every time he tries to make an example of me, like Colton Wood, he makes the example of himself through his own words and his own actions.
Well, I tell you what, I'll make you two a deal and anybody else. If you got a problem with old Honest Abe, you let me know and we'll slap him around a little bit. And maybe if he sits the fuck down and shuts the fuck up and quits trying to, try too hard, maybe he'll be all right, huh?
Okay.
Well,
okay. Well, okay.
I mean,
because I'll be honest with you, we were talking today, and we feel as though we kind of feel sorry for him, and we want to, if it is one of those things where he's on the spectrum or there's some other shit and whatever, you want to be mindful of that, because I feel like it's going to take the wrong person to come along one day, catch him on the wrong day, and then God forbid he goes, you know what, man, fuck it, I'm just gonna go outside.
I mean, the way I look at it is like, if you really want to help the dude, get him a fucking prostitute. Have him
I
lose
actually thought about that, bro.
Yeah,
we talked about.
We need to collect $50 to get this guy laid.
Dude, hey, look, I'll put in 100 for Abe.
$50, I think, is too much. I mean, what are crack whores going for in rock?
I'll be honest with you. I think him and Tonic have really hit it off. Like they work well together. He listens to Tonic. I mean, so maybe that'll keep him occupied.
I don't know who Tonic is. I know the name.
Tonic and Sales.
Yeah, I know the name. I just
see. I've lost touch with all those people. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen you in a long time, Clockwork Rex, man. Good to see you.
I've been around. You got to do work to pay the bills. So I mean,
yep.
Hell yeah, brother.
But like I said, he just wants to fucking go out and just fucking create problems everywhere he goes, create fights. His biggest thing is he says that he was around when a lot of the shit happened, but he never was. And how is it that he always gets the fucking thing wrong? Like how does he always get the fucking facts wrong?
Because he says he got receipts for that.
He doesn't have any receipts.
How about them apples?
It's the umbrella effect. Yeah.
Who made the badges? Who made the badges? How about them apples, Abram? Not a cop. That was some funny shit. I saw that on Paulie Crispy's last week, and I was like, fucking right on, dude.
Oh yeah, a lot of them looked fucking plastic. I was like, what the hell? What the hell is this shit?
Paul and Fullerton used to work in a law enforcement field a long time ago.
There he is. You remember Turtle Boy when he dressed up in the LG's uniform? That's Abe with his face.
That's hysterical.
Honest Abe, YouTube detective.
Hey, Dragon, come on up here. Don't be look.
Yeah, hey, Dragon.
Get out of control. I will not let it.
There he is.
Hey, look, I ruled this fucking stream with an iron fist. So
those are some funny memes and shit.
That's what we've done. We've just dunked on him, and he's finally kind of calmed the fuck down. Here we go.
I had Betsy Peeler put Lady Di's head on a woman that was, pleasuring herself, and then I took Abe's face, had her put Abe's face right in the crotch area. So there was no nudity for YouTube, and I used that as a screenshot on one of my videos.
Oh, he's not hard to find. Dude, look, he ain't hard to find. I did an interview with him. Did you see the interview I did with him?
No.
Oh, man, and it's like part 2, part 3. It's wild. It's wild. Well, hopefully, he will... he'll cut the shit. Dragon Classy has been smacking him around. I know that he got Black Rose riled up. She rage quit from Lisa B's channel.
Well, what I wanted to tell you is, and I'll leave the panel after this. I've talked too much as it is, but
No, you're good. I got to bounce too, brother.
Please.
Abe has been ramping up his attacks on women, like 69 Mammy 95, Miss Joe, especially Miss Joe. And he's ramping up his attacks, and he's getting more and more fervent against the women on YouTube. I've seen him go after Dragon Classy. Now, I don't personally have any stake in what happens to certain people, but I don't think Dragon Classy, in her own right, deserves Abe to be attacking her like he is, because she's telling truth about him. He's a woman hater, and
All
she
right,
doesn't
I'm
deserve
going
it.
to say one thing.
Here we
Okay?
go.
Oh shit! Hey,
Abe
Drag.
is a lying fucking piece of shit. He
Well,
tags me all the time. He's tagged you, Salty. He's tagged
But all you have to do is block it. Block him. Just block him from your channel. He can't
Well,
tag you if you
okay,
block him.
let me. I gotta.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hey, can you pull up the basement real quick
Okay, so
minutes.
anyhow,
while she gets ready?
Let's get.
he
Never mind.
he harasses all the women. He tags all of them. He's gone after all of them, me included. You fucking piece of shit. Now, you need to get over yourself, boy. You really do. Because enough's enough. I've stuck
Dragon
up for all
Classy.
the women because he is so fucking lower than low, and he doesn't belong on this platform.
Hey, Dragon. Hang on a second. Look, let me restart this. You remember this?
Ready
Yeah.
for it, folks? Here it comes.
I tell you what, Alex
Ladies
09 and
and
Maven
gentlemen,
reamed his
let's
motherfucking
get
ass
ready
this
to
morning so
rumble.
goddamn hard.
Oh, yeah.
Let's
Been on
get
his-
ready to
oh, yes.
rumble.
Oh, thank you very much. Yes, they've reamed his motherfucking ass sideways. He's been on his best behavior all fucking day.
Well, anyway,
I mean, I've not heard Alex 09.
Fine
Like,
best behavior.
well, have you guys been tagged this afternoon?
well, okay.
No, because
So,
I stomped his fucking. I
Uh-huh.
stomped his shit into
I
the
think
mud.
I
and he
think
looked
everybody got his
fine.
ass's attention, and I hope he
Mhm.
does for his because like I said, I don't think he means harm, but I think he's way a good he's got Truthfinder up on his panel right now. Do you know the shitstorm that's going to come out tomorrow? Because you know who Truthfinder is. He's a
I've heard
CPS
of
real
him,
life
yeah.
and swatting motherfucker tomorrow.
Yeah,
Well-
he swatted a lot of people on the internet for no good
Well-
reason.
And he's up on Abe's
Anyhow-
panel right now.
Well, I mean, if you try to swat me, the fucking cops around here will laugh at you.
okay,
They're like, that
Rex.
motherfucker does not do shit except work with cows and goats and sheep and whatever.
Rex, you can vouch for this. I asked you personally myself if you knew Abe, right?
I had never heard of the motherfucker until
Okay.
Salty started
And
talking
then
about
when I said that to you,
it. Mhm,
and Abe went fucking ape shit.
mhm. Yeah,
He's a
Like,
woman hater.
you know Rex there, Abe. No, you don't. I know Rex. You don't, motherfucker. Don't
yeah,
start
we had
with
that long conversation on Discord about it, Classy.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, I do not know the motherfucker from fucking Adam. Really, I don't.
I don't know him either. I mean, I talked to him, but whatever. I don't know him. I don't want to know him.
No, exactly. I don't
Well-
know you. I don't want to know you.
But-
Kick fucking
But
rock.
I heard him personally say on someone's panel that he knew you.
Mm-mm.
I'm like, no, motherfucker. I call bullshit. I'll go ask him myself. I knew you were lying out your ass. Come on.
Say it ain't so, Abe.
Yes,
Say it
it
ain't
is
so.
so, love.
He'll play ball with you guys on Paulie Crispy's Danger Zone and all that, but you
Oh,
can't
wow.
trust him. He's a snake. He's gonna play nice. He's gonna mind his P's and Q's because you're chewing his ass out every day, but it's a game. He thinks he's winning. Trust me.
That's why I
Yeah,
kept
but here's
asking
the
him
thing, he's
from the
looking
beginning.
like a fucking fool, though. That's the problem.
Well, Dragon,
and then he cries woof and cries and being a baby and that. And he goes,
He
well,
does.
everybody's lying. Everyone's out to get
Mhm.
me. No one wants to be your friend. Get over it.
I've been asking him, Dragon, since I've like known him, I guess, past few weeks, month. And I asked him, I said, well, you know, what's your end game? What are you doing? You know, what's in the end for you? And finally this morning, the first time he goes, well, it's just a game. I was like, well, buddy, you don't want to play a game with some of these people because you're gonna run across, you know, the wrong pack. Play with shit that gets on your hands, right?
Well, what about pissing off somebody that's going to want to
Mhm.
FA? Seriously,
Yep.
they don't have a problem coming to his house. His information's everywhere.
Yep.
Ever
And-
since I exposed him from his Facebook page, I don't know what anyone else has done to expose him. No, I never doxed his address.
He had his ham
Never
radio
doxed his phone
license pulled up this morning. His first thing, his call sign was Whiskey Whiskey Niner Whiskey Whiskey Whiskey.
Yeah, but that's an old
14
license.
Well, but nonetheless, his license didn't last for 4 or 5 months, and Nathan was laughing his ass off because he's probably fucking spamming and kept that button held down. They kicked him off of the ham radio airwaves, and now he's here.
Well, he set up a group. He set up a group in Rockford, I think.
The ham
called
radio
Nexus
collective.
6. It's called Nexus 6. They live stream every Friday night. He set up the actual group and then set up the YouTube channel for the guy that is actually hosting it. So when Rick Crude called this guy on the phone and asked him, hey, was this guy ever a cop? No. He's never been a police officer. He's always been a public safety security guard. But he's never going to come forward and tell the truth about anything. Look, I don't like that he's going after all the women on the internet. He's a woman hater. He doesn't have a woman in his life. He needs to get laid, obviously. That's my opinion.
Well, here's the other thing too. He was going around in some chat and saying I was his girlfriend. Get the fuck out of here with that motherfucker.
But
And then he's
obviously,
like, no, just wait. And then he wanted to get into my Discord. You're never getting into my Discord, motherfucker. Think again about that. You are fucking delusional. Go touch grass. God, get off fucking YouTube.
Go look at the trees, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Rex ain't gonna do that shit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have a green thumb. Like I said, I planted a tree like 5 years ago, and fuck, it took. It's still growing. It's producing fruit. I don't really like pigs, but
look,
whatever.
You're on the winning side, so there you go.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Well, man, you guys take it easy. Dragon Classy, good to see you.
Oh, good to see you,
Talkie Rant, everybody else. Yeah, the Ballad of Honest Abe continues, eh?
Well,
oh, dude, get away from him while you can, Asmar. He's an idiot.
You know, Dragon, I think he's found a new home with Tonic. I think he and Tonic, Tonic's a pretty special wrangler, and you know, people like it, and if it keeps him occupied, then good.
I mean,
well, it is Pride Month. I mean, you can't, you know. Sorry.
Oh, man.
I mean, he lives at home with his mommy. Oh
well,
my God, what chick would want him?
Technically, I live at home with my mother-in-law, but there's differing circumstances behind that. But you know,
sometimes you gotta take care of family, right?
No, I'm
talking
about Abe.
That's a whole nother long story for a different day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
all right, guys.
Exactly. Yeah, bro.
All right, peace.
Hey, I used to like hanging out with Tonic because he played video games. I played way back in the day. You know, so
but anyhow, I came up and said my piece of Abe, so I had to deal with him last night with that stupid motherfucker. So
he's just, just be ever so mindful that he's ramping up his attacks on you and other women like Miss Joe, Flying Monkey, and
I've stuck up for all of them too.
And he's dangerous. He's becoming more dangerous. Like he has.
Mm-hmm.
The motive, the means, and the opportunity to act on some of the shit that he's saying about you all. And look, whether we agree, whether we get along, whether we're friends, doesn't matter. I don't like seeing him attacking women. I definitely don't like to see him attacking Miss Cho or anyone else. He has this persona on YouTube that nobody likes him, and there's a good reason behind it. Nobody cares to hang out with him because of his lies and his bullshit.
Yep.
And even if it's a
Yep.
game,
Yep.
even if it's a game, he's going to meet the one person that's going to FAFO, and it's going to be disastrous. I don't think ASMR or anybody else can reel him in because he's beyond that. He's playing a game with all them.
Well,
Yep.
look, you're going to run up to the head high boss of one of those levels, and you're going to get your ass stomped in, just like he did
Mhm.
with me. Just like he did with me. He tried to come at me, and I was like, "Look, I'm going to stomp your dick in the dirt. I hope you go away. I
Yeah.
don't have to do
Yeah.
it again."
Uh,
Yeah.
I've got enough receipts on this motherfucker galore. Okay, I do. Dude, you ain't playing with a full deck. If I really wanted to put him out on my community tab, I could, but I don't.
Well,
But you're saying, where's the receipts? I have the receipts. Oh, screenshots ain't receipts. They can be altered. I don't know how to alter anything, Abe. Get
Well,
over
what did
yourself,
he- what
boy.
Yeah, what did he do with us? He put up a screenshot of some shit allegedly I said. And allegedly
Exactly.
he said. Yeah. Allegedly. So,
Oh, I sent you when he tagged you and I both.
mm-hmm.
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 What
But
do
the
you
reason-
think I was gonna do, Abe? Let
The
you get
reason-
away with that? No.
The reason he says he's your boyfriend or you're his girlfriend is because he's getting the reaction from you that he wants. You're getting
No,
mad.
I found out about it from another source. So it doesn't matter which source I heard it. I know about it. Like, dude, get over yourself there, Abe. Mm-mm. You're
I mean, it's okay to
delusional.
fantasize. It's okay to fantasize, but just don't
Ew,
act out on your
oh,
fantasy.
no,
Don't push your shit on me.
mm-mm.
Hey, Salty, I told you about that. Don't push your shit on me. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's too funny. I just see the attacks like he's just look. I don't know what his problem is. I really don't have enough time in the day for him.
Just let's say I have enough receipts on him of us taking all us women out, all of it. So it is what
The only-
it is.
The only thing you could do at this point is maybe get a fucking restraining order on him. I don't know. Report him to the police.
Yeah, I don't really know either. How all
Yeah.
the cyber laws work now.
Just remember when seconds count, the police are minutes away. That's always the way it's been with the police.
Fair enough.
Like there's nothing I can really do. I mean, I've told him to stop tagging me, but he won't.
You can go to YouTube Legal and report it. I don't know that they would do anything.
No, probably not. I mean, he's crazy. He's fucking delusional. He's messing with my friends. He just don't give a shit, and that's the problem. So, I mean,
one of these days is gonna get into an FAFO moment, and we're all gonna be like, "Well, we tried to warn him."
Yeah.
mhm,
We told you in advance. You didn't listen.
mhm.
See,
But
this this is what I
Well-
look to do. I mean, some bridges get burnt and some big bridges get rebuilt. And I like rebuilding bridges. Sometimes.
Well, I mean, I'll freely say this. I mean, Abe actually called me a liar. And he's like, I didn't say that. Fuck off. You did, motherfucker. I'm not the only person that heard you mention clock wrecks. So don't even go there and lie out your ass.
Oh yeah. Like I
Because
said,
you did.
there's 5 years of streams on my live in my channel. And you can
Mhm.
look them all up if you want to. 2 or 3 of them
Mhm.
have been deleted for copyright claims because I didn't want to.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah. Yeah.
I was just like, fuck that shit, delete it.
But
No.
I
Well,
just wanted to come up here and say my piece about Abe. I know what he is, and he's a liar, and he's putting his narrative on everybody and lying out his ass about shit. He wanted a certain someone I knew to put out his military records because he didn't believe that he was a vet. He doesn't have to, you motherfucker.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Hey,
but yet Abe will say he was a Marine, and that's stolen valor right there.
Yeah. That's absolutely stolen valor. You know, he's delusional, and I'm tired of it. I'm like, you know, it seems like every place I go, there he is. He whines like a baby because he gets popped everywhere. Well, there's a reason for it. We don't want you here. No one wants you. I would never let him up on my panel. Fuck of no way.
It's kind of like playing
I
kickball.
refuse.
It's kind of like playing kickball when you're trying to figure out who you want on your team.
Miss Joe can vouch for that. Yeah, it's like kickball. Yeah.
He's the last pick. Nobody wants to pick him, and you know he thrives on it. He thinks.
Yeah.
I don't know what he thinks, honestly. I don't really care. He can say what he wants about me.
I'll freely say this much before I get down, but like I've tried to ignore this fool. I've tried to ignore him. I've tried to ignore him. I've tried to ignore him, and he just can't help himself. You ignore him, he hates it.
Yeah, no self-control. It's called no self-control.
Yeah, no self-control, and you know, it's crazy. You know, he doesn't know when to stop, and I've seen him. He's like, well, where did you get this general idea of me? You don't know me. I've heard you enough on other people's panels and made the judgment on my own. No one sent me to troll you there, Abe. Get that out of your fucking head, motherfucker. I went after your ass on my own. I'm tired of it. We're all taking a stand. No one wants anything to do with you.
Oh yeah, when the first message he sent me after he posted that fucking horseshit about me being on his stream or him being on my stream or however that went.
Yep.
Was greetings, fellow traveler. I was like, no, you done fucked up right there. Because I've never talked to you. I've never talked to you. I've never met you. We've never had a conversation.
Well, that's the same way he did COVID's. Now, I heard something about COVID's last week that he got busted out for being a womanizer. That's really hard to come back from.
I don't want to talk about that for reasons. So yeah, I mean everything's a mess.
Yeah, and full disclosure.
I mean, if I talk about it here, I'll get followed and I'll get harassed for it. So I'm not going to even bother to say.
My channel. What are we talking about?
Well, a certain someone decided to drag me, and I'm like, motherfucker, where do you think you're going with that?
But it's YouTube. I mean, doesn't really matter what it is.
Yeah, but I've kept my mouth shut about that person for a long time. You know, I never mentioned him nowhere, never said anything, but he decided to drag me. So, you know, it's fucked up. And, you know, it's crazy.
Look, I'm not going to claim to not have been a womanizer back in the day because, you know, the uniform adds a sense of
whatever
prestige, or something like that. We'll just say prestige. We'll go with it.
But I mean, I'm sure you've heard enough. You know, I mean, I'm to the point where enough's enough, and I'm trying to take a stand, and you know, because. You know how it rolls with the YouTube streets when you have somebody to do their dirty work for them, you know, and troll you and follow you, see where you go, and what are you saying about him, you know, this and that. And I think it's bullshit. If that person can't do their dirty work themselves, well then there's something wrong with that picture.
Is it YouTube Streets or YouTube Streets?
YouTube
I have
streams.
no idea. Either way it works. Yeah,
That's
either
what we
way.
both called them. But you know, I came up here to say my piece about Abe, and you know, it is what it is, and I've got enough evidence on that fool. I could put it out on my community tab. I won't.
You can always do a live stream about it.
I don't dare.
I mean, every time we go live, he's copying it and you know, downloading it, and you know.
Yeah.
I've got his attention, and I'm gonna keep getting his attention, but I'm gonna do it on my terms because I'm having a good time right now. I'm actually living my life.
Well, that's nice. I'm happy for you, but now he is the nuisance problem for everybody, and
He's like a nuisance dog that craps in your yard every day. Like, put the dog on a leash. Keep him crapping in your yard. You know.
So, it is what it is, and you know, I feel bad for anyone that socializes with him because he's going to go on for hours and hours and how people, when you know, has gone after him this long and this and this and this and whine about it, and it's the same narrative. He tried to pull, he tried to pull and be like, well, how did this all start? No, you're not going to pull that a narrative on me, motherfucker. No. Can't we get this resolved? Nope.
Oh yeah, it's not like I started it with you. You fucking started this shit with me.
Yeah.
So you know,
he drops the bomb on everybody else, throws it in your lap like a hot potato, and then he cries because everybody reacts to the stuff he says and does. But yet, had he kept his mouth closed from the beginning and not taken this route, he wouldn't be in this position.
Exactly. He painted his fucking
right.
Well, Dragon Classic Art, to take your perspective of it, he painted himself into a fucking corner and he can't get out. And now, he's fucking flailing. Yeah.
Like, there's no way in hell I would ever let that fool on my panel. There's no way. None. He won't dare step one foot in my lives. He won't dare.
Well, that's why I was leery of Kofefe Raven.
Yeah, I thought that was Abe. I stand corrected, but I've never talked to ASMR before, ever. This was the very first time.
Well, fair enough.
But none of the women that I'm friends with that he had any right to go after. None. And he doesn't know when to stop. I mean, I've told him, obviously your mother didn't teach you any fucking manners.
Fair enough.
Well,
because you don't do that.
Next time you want to insult him, you can say, "Oh, you kiss your mother with that mouth?"
No.
I never thought of that. Really, honestly. And so, therefore, you know, the only thing that he can turn around and say is, well, you got receipts for that?
Well, that's what he always said.
Where's your fucking receipts there, Abe? I know what you've been doing. You think we ain't all watching and we see what goes on? You're fucking delusional.
Yep.
So, you know, you need to stop with that.
He could be on drugs.
Sure. Well, you know, he's probably watching this stream too, and I'll get tagged in the morning, I'm sure. Oh,
he can't tag me though because I have
evidence. Right, but that's more evidence for me.
Well, you know, like I said, it all has to go somewhere. I don't have the hard drive space and I don't have the wherewithal to save everything he says. I don't care
Oh,
what he
yeah.
says about me. But when it gets between me and Colton Wood and he eggs on Colton Wood, a guy who's made threats to rape and kill all my female family members, including my wife, has been to my house twice and then came 2 weeks ago to do a drive-by to say he'll be seeing me. All I can say is it's not going to work out like he thinks it will. I hope that Colton Wood stays away from my mother-in-law's residence, because if he imposes himself as any kind of a threat, he's going to be met with the same kind of resistance that he's showing me. And it may not be for me. My neighbors all know.
Well,
I have a lot of support in my neighborhood.
It's it's to the point where everyone needs to take a stand against Abe, because if you don't, he's going to keep going with his narrative and keep going after all of us. He doesn't know when to quit. He's lied more than one occasion. Oh, I'm leaving YouTube. No, you won't. No, you won't.
I've heard.
He said he was going to come back and invent himself. Okay, where's that going to get you?
Mm-hmm.
He also said that he has a job and he's going to leave. And when he's on a live panel, he's like, yeah, I got to go to my job. I'm getting ready to leave. And then what? 3 hours later, he's still on the same live panel? Good luck with that.
I've seen enough with him that it's ridiculous. And so, I feel bad for all the women he's harassed and what he's done. It isn't fair. Nobody deserves it. And
it's just words, though, on the internet, right? He hasn't come to anyone's house. He hasn't threatened their family members with their jobs or anything like that.
Yeah, he won't get off his ass and do anything. He just talks.
Well, here's the thing. Abe never used to swear. Well, now he's swearing now.
Wait,
he never used to.
What?
Oh yeah.
Maybe he's going through.
Nothing. I'm just saying, from my observation, he never used to do it before.
Maybe he's going through a midlife crisis. I mean, it's not easy being 43, living in mom's basement, eating Pop-Tarts and fucking Hot Pockets. Trying to be sick and on the internet.
I don't know.
Being a virgin.
I don't know. All I can say is, I feel bad for anybody that encounters him.
He's just not one of the cool kids. I'm not one of the cool kids, and I don't care what he says.
I never was. Yeah, I never was. I listen
I
to
don't need to be with the cool kids. I've got salty swimmers. I mean, that right there in itself can get in trouble.
We can talk about that on Discord. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So anyhow, I need to hop down anyway, but I said my piece about Abe. I hope he heard it. I don't care. You can be a crybaby all you want. You can't keep my name out your mouth or anyone else's. So, why don't you grow up and grow a pair and get a life? Go touch grass. Go do something. Leave all of us alone. We want nothing to do with you. But you keep obviously coming back for more.
Keep me hanging on. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. That's exactly what he does. Yeah.
When you get mad, I just want you to know this. When you get mad and you cuss him out like you tend to do, you give him the reaction that he's looking for. That's why he keeps doing it. If everybody, including myself, were to stop making Abe videos and just turn a blind eye to him, a cold shoulder, he would lose his shit. If everybody for a 24-hour period.
I've done it.
Oh,
I've done it.
That happens in all this drama bullshit. Yeah.
I've done that. I don't care what anyone says. I've ignored this son of a bitch, and every time I did, he hated it. He hates it when he knows he's not wanted, and he doesn't care. That's when he comes back for more.
That's actually a good title for a video stream. Maybe I will go live tomorrow with a title stream. Not so honest, Abe. Sorry about your bad luck, but you're not wanted anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe
I'll do a live stream with that title.
But you know, he came up on someone else's panel last night, and I've got enough receipts of the nasty things he said in people's private chat in StreamYard. Nasty shit about people. He does not know when to quit. You're a whiny bitch. There, Abe.
You could always
Living in
start calling him.
fantasy land.
You could always start calling him Bradley Bullshit because his actual initials are BS. Literally, his initials are BS. Well, BSS, but you know, I call him when I
Whatever,
see the
but
initial BS, I think of bullshit. So I'm like Bradley Bullshit.
yeah,
'Cause he talks
yeah.
bullshit.
Well, but I said my piece, and I hope people watch out. You know, watch out because he's like a leech. He doesn't know when to go away. And
Well, you know,
You know how to get rid of leeches? You take a
Salt.
Bic lighter to them. You burn them
yeah,
off.
I know.
you
I
just
know.
you just sprinkle salt on them and they melt away.
You know, I know that, Rex, but you know, I'm fully aware what he is and the lies he tells, and
The only thing that really bothers me is because I've had a family of veterans, my grandfather, my uncles, my dad. When he does the stolen valor thing about being a former Marine, that bothers a little bit. That's
Yeah.
you know, that kind of gets in my craw. Everything else is
Right.
just supposition and bullshit. Because there's a lot of people that have, even in this community, that have fought for this country and sacrificed. And I think he takes away that what they've done in their past lives for all of us to
well,
have our freedoms to say fuck the police or give the cops fingers or whatever. And when he comes out and he does that stolen valor bullshit, that's unacceptable. You
well,
should really be held accountable for that.
Well,
That's just my opinion.
Well, I mean, I back up your opinion because my uncle guarded Checkpoint Charlie between the East and West Germany. Yeah, okay, you go do that, motherfucker. Let's see what happens.
yeah,
to
well, so I need to hop down. It's almost 5 o'clock in the morning my time. So
you. Yeah, I'm gonna end this pretty soon.
yeah, well, like I said, when you asked me to come up, I'm figured, all right, fine. I'll say my piece about Abe. We all know what he is, and
Hey, look, I just want to start a conversation between people.
I get it. I get what you're trying to do, Rex. But you know,
Hey, it is what it is. I'm not trying to force anything. So, yeah.
no, I get it, dude. I get it. But you know, I'm to the point where enough's enough. I'm tired of
Oh
it.
yeah. Hey, look, Abe comes to me again. Yeah, it's gonna be bloody.
Well, just so
It will be
you
blood.
know, I will take his ass out.
You know, it's funny because, like, I'm probably not the last. I'm probably the only person, or the last person is. We all have commonality. We don't like Abe, and that's what makes for a great show.
Oh sure.
That's like we may not get along with each other personally or have interpersonal relationships, but as long as we can agree to disagree with Abe and not like the guy because of the things he says and does, that's awesome. Like you're bringing groups of people together that would not normally be on a panel together with the continuity of we all don't like Abe. It's an anti-Abe live stream. This is great. Thank you, Rex.
I was gonna say,
Hey, you're welcome. And I do what I can. So go ahead.
But I apologize for swearing, but man, I can't stand that fool. And
Oh, hey, look,
enough's
look,
enough.
look, DCD. After the first 10, 15 minutes, you can swear all you fucking want, and they won't pay attention to it.
Well, it's the whole idea of I went after Abe on my own, first on someone else's panel, because dude wouldn't shut the fuck up.
Well, yeah,
And
and then when he tagged me, he brought me into it. Okay, tag team,
yeah,
Dragon, go sit at the corner. I will fucking be back after I saw this dude's nuts in the fucking ground. And it was
Yep.
actually pretty funny. It was actually funny.
hmm
Because,
I
well, I
mean,
mean, he hadn't said anything to me anymore. So, hadn't tagged
no,
hadn't
because
been-
he was busted and he was caught. And I'm like, dude, I asked Rex myself. I know Rex personally, so you're gonna say this? Oh, no, you're busted. No. You
Oh,
lied
yeah.
out your ass. I knew he was lying. I knew he was up to no good. That's why I came up on your panel that one night. And that's when I asked you personally. And when you said no, well, I was right on the money with it.
What was it? An hour and a half conversation we had on Discord in private about
Yeah.
it? Yeah,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah. And
Because I
was
told
like,
you I was going to ask you when you went live because I knew that son of a gun would be watching. So,
oh,
yeah,
shit.
you're busted there too, fool. Because, yeah, no.
Yeah, and you know, another thing is all the videos people have done on me over the years. Some of them are really funny. I can appreciate them now. So Abe says, "Oh yeah, I remember those videos. Yeah, I was around back then." No, he wasn't. He was nowhere even on the internet. Nobody even heard of him back then. He used to go by Agent Orange. Then when he came to
I
Lady
know.
Dies, he was Brett.
Yeah.
And he used to
Yeah.
tell everybody, "Oh, I got the FBI sitting out in front of my house." Da 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 da. I'm like, okay, whatever. That's how I know him from talking to him. I don't really know him personally. I don't want to know him. And then when he challenged me to come find him and expose him, that's when I got to know him. And everything I got to know about him and know this day, I don't like. I don't like any of it. It's
It's all
you know what?
Yeah.
Every time I talk about Abe, it gives me cooties. Cooties ain't the right word, but it makes me want to go and fucking shower because I feel fucking dirty, you know? Like, no.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it's to the point people need to be aware. He is no one's friend.
Oh, sure.
He's out to play his game, and he wants everyone to listen to his sad story. And it's the same narrative everywhere he goes for hours.
Oh,
So-
hey. And don't think, Salty, it makes my dick itch. I'm just saying.
Oh.
Oh God. Okay, whatever.
He
So I
got
just
it. He got it. That's why
But-
he's shaking on his cigar. Yeah.
That caught me off guard. Sorry about that.
Fair enough. Hey, look, that's what I'm trying to do here. So,
but
That totally
you
caught
know,
me off guard.
people need to be aware. Like he thinks he's fitting in everywhere he goes, and honestly, truly, he's not. That's
He's the
the
type of
problem.
guy that got a participation trophy just for showing up.
yeah.
I wish I had
Yeah.
the picture, but like I said, I keep talking about this one picture that was in his Facebook postings when I found him on Facebook. He was like 8 years old. He went to a police fair, and there was a picture of him
I
in the
heard you
picture.
say that, yeah. Before
And the
I
cop
came
was
up,
either
I
putting a
heard that.
ribbon on or like a junior police badge or whatever. And I
Mhm.
think about, in fact, I talked to somebody else about this that I won't name, but she said, "Hey, you remember that line in that part in Forrest Gump where he was at the National Monument and you got the big lake and you had all the hippie protesters?"
Yeah.
So he
hello,
was
Trevor.
waving. Tom Hanks was waving to Jenny, you know, Forrest Gump. He's like, Jenny,
Yeah.
Jenny, you know, waving his hand. So, and they tell me, oh, well, every time he sees a police car driving through his neighborhood, that's what he's doing. He's standing on the corner waving like that. It's funny
Mhm.
because I think about that now every time. And then I remember the video he did where he was talking to the cop and he shot out some code or whatever. Like, are you 1099? And cop's probably like, oh God, not this police whacker guy again. Like, this guy's
Yeah.
touched. He's on the spectrum. Like, why did I even stop and talk to him? I should have just pretended to ignore him and drive off.
Yeah, I should just let the shit go. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, so I said my piece. So, it is what it is. People take it as a grain of salt, whatever you want. But I know Delmo, he's probably watching the stream and he's probably gonna clip it and say
Oh,
whatever to
sure.
his
Hey, he
narrative.
can do whatever the fuck he wants. Hey, look, this is you are free to do whatever you want with the stream, but I'm gonna leave the stream up so everybody can see what actually fucking happened. Yeah.
Well, I just want to thank Abe for letting me live rent free in his feeble mind. In fact, I'm building
Well,
ideal
I'll put
swimming
it
pool.
right. I'll put it like this. I've told him we're living rent free in your head. So you're the one that's so obsessed. We're not. You are.
Yeah,
And
we
that's
don't
the
really
problem
give a
he's
shit.
got.
Yeah, none of us really give a shit.
No,
No.
it's entertainment. It's terrible entertainment, but it's entertainment just the same.
Yeah. Well, I need to get off this panel, so
Okay, thanks for coming up,
Rex.
Thanks
Yeah.
for coming up,
Rex,
Dagger.
thanks for letting me up. I said my
Oh, thank
piece and
Well, you said what you needed to say, so there it is.
yeah. I mean he's well hated by a lot of people because nobody can stand him anymore and he just keeps going with his narrative. So
I
he's
guess it's
just
safe
so
to say that Abe is now the YouTube villain of internet and YouTube for 2024. He's the biggest villain. Everybody has so much angst towards him. It's great. Keep talking, Abe. We'll just keep laughing.
I do every day. Oh, keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. Cause you're screwed there, boy.
Keep putting your community tabs and posts out there. We're just gonna keep taking screenshots and laughing and having a good time.
But you got to remember that screenshots can be altered. No, mine are not altered, motherfucker. No, I don't know how to alter anything. So you're the one that's so fake. Lie.
Well, I put effort into real life shit. I don't really put effort into this internet bullshit. So
No.
yeah.
I put effort into my tags whenever I do a live stream and I'm talking about Abe. I always make sure to put all the regular hashtags in there, and now I'm starting to put on there hashtag liar pants on fire.
Yeah, right. So, but thanks for letting me up, Rex, and speak my piece. I really need to go. It's 5 o'clock.
Well, I mean, like I said earlier, I like to build bridges, and it's up to you if you want to burn them down. Okay, so
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just saying. Yeah, I gotta go here too. I gotta go piss and fucking finish my egg salad sandwich.
Well,
All right,
I'll talk to you later, Rex.
All right, take care.
I will.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you. Thanks for letting me up, Rex. This was fun.
Oh, hey, anytime.
I hope you enjoyed the cemetery stories because there was a lot of crazy shit that happened in cemeteries.
Oh shit, yeah. Oh yeah. Well, you hadn't even hit on the half of it yet.
Well, the thing that was fucked up about it is when I went to the Mexican cemetery in Bloomington, because it's a typically older Hispanic neighborhood that was there. It was built around the cemetery. I never saw anybody having sex at that cemetery in their cars. But when you go to San Bernardino to Mountain View Cemetery, holy shit, like everybody, it seems like, was knocking boots in the middle of the afternoon in their fucking cars. I'm like, why? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry.
I just don't get it. It's weird. Maybe it's the demographic of the people. I don't know, but it's one of those things that escapes me. But thankfully, I don't have to go back to work in the cemeteries.
Fair enough. Hey, that's totally fair enough.
And for the record, I've never urinated or defecated on anyone's grave, even though it was brought up years ago by malicious people that didn't like me. And they tried to run with that, and there was no proof of it. And I had been talked to on many different occasions by management at the cemetery. And people would call up all the time and make crazy complaints.
Yeah. Hey, did you shit on this guy's grave or not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would just look at him and I just laugh at him like, are you stupid? I said, that's a crime. I'm like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Like, that's a crime. Like, I don't know if it's a federal crime, but, you know, it could be federalized depending on whose grave it was.
Well, depends on who. Yeah. There you go.
But, you know, I had a lot of weird complaints that made no sense. And then, you know, when I started making my videos back in the day, I would sit in my truck. I would know where I was. Management knew where I was, but like, you can't be making videos at work. You can't be watching the cops and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, whatever. You know?
Oh,
Like,
exactly.
fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
When the
Yeah.
old management left and they got new management, everything was super relaxed. It was good. And then when I came back, they're like, Lou, you're back. Yeah, for now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
There was a woman that I worked with, her name, I just refer to her as Boo. She was a funny lady, and she had all the women in the office telling her that I was her boo. So I would come and I'd talk to her mom or her grandma, you know, and I would open her door like a gentleman. And when no one was looking, in full uniform, I would hip thrust the door closed. And she was so embarrassed by it. She's like, I can't believe you hip thrusted the door. One day I hip thrusted so hard, I literally fell down on my hands and knees thinking I threw my back out. And she goes, that's what you get.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. God damn it, my back. Yeah.
So now I make it a habit when I take my wife out in public, I hip thrust her door shut.
Oh.
Just something we do, you know.
Fair enough.
It's all in good fun. It's funny because when, you know, older couples see it, they're like, what the fuck did that guy just do? He hip thrusted the door closed? Like, you know, people don't expect that in public. And I'm all about comedy. I'm all about laughs and making people laugh. And as far as Bradley Bullshit, aka Not So Honest Abe, Labia, Dishonest Abe, Dishonest Labia, Not a Cop, Stolen Valor, hashtag Wannabe. I just put as many tags as I can. I even put his channel name, It's That Abe and Glockford in there. I got another one that I put, It's Cockford, not Glockford.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Well, have a good night. We'll talk
right,
again soon. And, you know, it is what it is. Take care, everybody.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm going to end this. Hang on. Where are we? 22 minutes and 22 seconds. 2 hours, 22 minutes and 22 seconds. Okay. Fair enough. Hey, I appreciate everybody that came on panel and saying what they got to say. Because, you know, I'm not about. Never mind. And thanks to everybody in chat. I'm shutting this down now. You guys take care. I'll talk to you later.